Hey, good evening. What's up, AP? Uh-oh, he's typing.
He's typing.
Hey,
I
guys.
got it. I was
Hi.
muted, so
I'm Chris Wall, executive producer of Wingfeather Saga, and this is...
Andrew Peterson, giant nerd.
I'm going to update your name tag. That's what it's going to say down there. Giant nerd.
Yes. Yes, I am also an executive producer and the author of the Wingfeather Saga, and I'm so happy. So glad to be with you guys right now.
So good. You know, okay, so we're so glad to have everybody joining in. It is day 20 since we launched our Wingfeather Saga campaign where we could sell shares by the seashore, for our company. And you guys have shown up huge. We had planned, it was funny. Do you remember this conversation, AP, where we were like, hey, how long should we make the campaign? And it was like, well, we don't want to go over 30 days. That just feels long. We don't want to, 40 days would be crazy, you know. And so we decided it should be 28 days. And it was like, oh, man, that's going to be so fast. I wonder if we can. So we're on day 20, and it's like going really fast.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's
We're almost
crazy.
there. I need this campaign to be over because my thumb is exhausted from refreshing my thumb.
Refresh slide. So, folks, we are on here because we have been so excited to partner with Angel Studios, and we are funding season 1 of the Wingfeather Saga, which is based on these awesome books written by Andrew. Here is the first book. Andrew, I don't remember. I have this one still. I don't know if you know this. This is our old beloved family copy of this version, and it has in here your written note to me way back in 2008. Man, how about that journey that we've been on?
Yeah, 2008. Well, the world was a different place in 2008, wasn't it?
Crazy, right?
So,
and now we get to have all these fans that have read the books, people that are just kind of jumping in and just seeing the pitch video maybe and are joining, but we're so excited that we're this close to the end. So we were planning on going live Thursday night like we normally do, but we wanted to bump up because we're very likely going to finish this tonight because we can only sell, we've been talking about this the whole time, but we're selling shares in our company. So I'm again hold the Wingfeather cards here, and we only have $5 million we're allowed by the SEC to sell as part of our thing. So we're at 4.858. Wow. So less than 150,000 left. Whew. Anyways, and once they're sold, that's it. That's all we got. And so Andrew and I, you can't call us. You can't text us and like, hey man, what, can you help me out? Let me in here. I want to get in the room. Sorry, man. It closes. It's over. So just so you know, it's not our fault. We're not trying to be rude. It's just how it is.
I had a show last night and I was with a buddy of mine, and he was like, oh, I forgot. I need to invest in the Wingfeather Saga. So while I was sitting there, he walked in really quick and I did the thing because he was like, it's ending fast. So I was super excited. Hey, thanks, Paulo from Oregon.
Yeah.
So
I've got a little list here that just happened right as we were coming on, Andrew. I want to run through. These are crazy. Kyle from Missouri, $700. Daniel from Minnesota, $100. Alexis from Utah, $1,000. Emily from California, $100. Steve from Florida, $10,000. That's crazy. There's been way more people in that segment than we ever expected. We were like, everybody's going to do $100. That's awesome, you know. But anyways, Calvin from California, $100. Jessica from California, $250. Charles from Tennessee, $500. Todd from AK. Is that Alaska? AK Alaska. What? Hello, Alaska. $100. Brandon from Ohio, $100. Carla from Kansas, $100. Brian from California, $500. Stan from Tennessee, $250. That's amazing. We'll get back to some more of those in a minute, but we have a really fun live stream for you guys. Hope families are gathered around. This is going to be really fun. This one is our music themed, so we're going to talk to some people that have helped us to bring the music to life, particularly in the short film. And you know, the short film, the pilot was really a prototype of how we want the series to feel. And based here in Nashville, we want it to have a really diverse soundscape. And so, so we're going to talk tonight with Kurt Heinecke, and then the band Arcadian Wild is going to join us as well. So So again, we're here. If you want to invest, it's like the ultimate fan experience. You want to jump in with us. A bunch of you came in here because you saw our pitch video that we got to create with the Harmon brothers, and they're just top talent. They're so cool. It was so much fun working with them. And we put together a little behind the scenes video of kind of bringing that to life. And some of you may have seen this out on the socials, but in case you haven't, we thought we'd share it now. So check out this behind the scenes. Hey everybody, we're here on the set of our awesome video for Wingfeather Saga promo. So fans, you guys know we've been telling the story of Wingfeather Saga for a long time, and now we get to do it in this format.
When I saw what everyone was doing, specifically with this project, I got really excited because I love fantasy stories. I have kids. I'm always looking for things that I can share with them. That's what investing really is. It's not about just handing something over. It's not donating.
Yeah.
It's investing. It means that you care about what goes into this and what's going to come back. Once you're passionate about doing something that's worth doing, why not enroll other people into joining you?
This is a dream fulfilled. Like, to chase this. We've been on this now for 6 years. Working Andrew and I together to help bring Wingfeather Saga to the screen. And this is the next big chapter. That was so much fun. Oh man. So that location was a blast. Chris, who is the actor who's on screen, was just such a cool dude. Totally into it. He was very excited about being able to be our spokesperson, the Bard. Hey, so we get to work with really great talent, and you're going to meet some of those folks tonight. But we've had a lot of people asking, hey, I'm an animator, I'm a background painter, I'm a whatever, and could I work with you guys? And we would love to hear from you. We have a pretty great group here, but we're always looking for new talent. If you want to reach out to us, you can just hit info@wingfeathersaga.com. Info@wingfeathersaga.com is the easiest way to reach us. And we're also going to put some stuff out there on LinkedIn. I know we've had that question a lot. Okay, so tonight we have some special guests. If it likely may happen while we're sitting here chatting, AP, but that we sell out. If we get to our $5 million goal and it closes, they're going to have a save a spot in line thing that will happen, because sometimes the investments don't go through for different reasons, and it may open a spot. So if that happens, that'll be up for maybe a week. And you may still get a shot. But anyways, just FYI. So we've got Kurt Heinecke, who did our composing on the short film, and then Arcadian Wild. And then we coerced Andrew into playing a song for us because we haven't heard anything musical from you yet. Once this thing finishes and we're done with kind of this funding thing and doing these live streams, how do you stay in touch? Some of you are on socials, and that's great. So follow us on Wingfeather Saga on Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. We don't use Twitter that much, but there's that. But you can also go on YouTube and then wingfeathersaga.com, wingfeathersaga.com. Go check us out there. We have an official Wingfeather Saga fan group as well. And we're going to be updating the website to let you guys in on that. Just with kind of our progress as we go on the series, that sort of thing. But then over on Facebook, we have our Wingfeather Saga fan group if y'all want to jump in there. And the conversation will keep going. It's super fun. But for those of you not on socials, the website's going to be a great place for you to hear what we're up to as we go make season 1 of our animated series, Andrew. It's happening. It's happening.
I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
There's Jamie
sitting next to me.
I know Heather's over here, and Heather was like, "Well, Jamie claps a lot off screen. Can I clap off screen?"
Clap too.
Our families are all in. It's yeah, man. Here we go. I was talking to Keith earlier, and he said, "Yeah, it's not real to me yet. Like, it just all seems like a dream that we're getting to do this, and that all of you people have come alongside." Over 7,500 people have said, "Yeah, let's make this happen." So I'm going to rattle off a couple more of these that have just come in. I just love calling people's names. It's so sweet. Samuel from Virginia, $350. Daniel from Michigan, $100. Catherine, North Carolina, $100. Lydia from Tennessee, $100. Paulo Paolo, sorry, from Oregon, $500. Chris from Pennsylvania, $100. Marcus from Alabama, $10,000. Wow. So this may go really fast. Conrad from Florida, $100. Jennifer from Pennsylvania, $250. Luke from Alabama, $100. Aaron from South Carolina, $250. Tess from Minnesota, $100. Rachel from Wisconsin, $100. Tara Lee from Florida, $100. Michael from Tennessee, $200. And Rebecca from Kansas, $100. Awesome. Thank you all so much for jumping in. That's just really cool. Okay. All that said, we are so excited to have our good friend Kurt Heinecke. Kurt and I got to work together for a long time at Big Idea, working on VeggieTales. Just a skilled composer, a man of many musical talents. And when we first started on this journey, we called him and said, hey, could you help us to make some music for this series? And so we're going to talk with Kurt. Now, Kurt, are you there?
I am here.
Hey!
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 How you doing, man? Okay, so I got to say that, Kurt, you are kind of the reason that this is happening. Do you remember where we met?
Yes,
That's right.
It's a long, windy road, but it's awesome. Do you want to tell it? Go ahead.
It was about
your story. Might
it
be better
was
than mine.
about 20 years ago, probably pushing 20 years ago, and we were in Estes Park, Colorado, for the there was a music festival that used to happen there, and I was there playing a concert. And backstage, I saw this guy wearing a VeggieTales hat, and I walked up and I was like, "Ooh, VeggieTales! I love those." And we got to know each other, and I think we exchanged numbers so that the next time I was in Chicago, which is where VeggieTales was headquartered at the time, I texted you, or texting wasn't even a thing. I probably pulled over to payphone and said, "Hey, Kurt, it's Andrew. We met at this show. Can I come by and see the studio?" And you guys were working on the Jonah movie, I think.
Okay.
And I got this tour of the studio, and you were so cool. And then when you guys moved to Franklin, we hung out, and that's how I ended up meeting Chris. That's kind of how the thing happened.
I was involved in some of the. Yeah, no, that's awesome, because you came by and saw our grand opening at our new space in Franklin, and then I kind of chimed in. I was like, "Hey, I've got these Irish whistles if you ever need them on anything." And you said, "Hey, I'm doing this Christmas show. Yeah, why don't you come by and play some?" And that led to a couple years of playing. And then I got one of your CDs, your children's CDs with Randall. Gave that to Chris Wall because he was producing on our end for Veggies, and he's like, "Boy, this is some good stuff." We brought you in to do some silly songs with us. You and Chris got to know each other, and here we are.
That's amazing. It really is amazing. Yeah, crazy.
Thanks for that clapping.
I'm going to keep clapping him. I told everybody before we got on here, Kurt, I said, so just so clear, see Kurt's studio, it's pretty amazing. And didn't let us down. Thank you. There's a lot going on here.
Actually, I just changed my angle because I realized, I just had the wall in the background before, and I'm like, that's not what Chris is going to want to see. So
I want the tuba.
Trying to give you, there's the VeggieTales tuba. The theme song was played on that tuba right there. And just got all sorts of stuff. I've got walls.
You have Liberace and Bach on your keyboard there. Just pointing that out. That's
I run the whole gamut.
That's right. Oh man. Okay. So do you remember I first called you and said, "Hey, we're working on this Wingfeather Saga thing, and I wonder if you could help us to make." We were going to do an early teaser. We had a pitch we were going to make at an event, and I said, "Hey, can you help us with the soundscape we want to do? Keith's going to do like a map flyover thing, and then we need a thing." And you were like, "Okay, well, what melody?" And I said, "Well, probably the best melody we have is this "My Love Has Gone Across the Sea" thing. So maybe you could do something with that." And you turn in this piece. We actually have it. It's an early teaser, so the visuals are very different than you have today. But can we play that teaser real quick, guys? Maybe? Yes? No? John? Do we have it?
I remember it being louder.
Yeah.
so much. I want to see that TV series. That's so cool. So cool.
So, Kurt, we talked about the soundscape. That one of the things that we wanted to avoid, because it's so overused in kind of Celtic and other fairy tale stuff like this, is the Irish whistle. And you were like, I have some ideas, people. Tell us about some of that soundscape that you introduced.
Yeah, so the first instrument you hear is the Irish whistle, of course. I just love bringing in actual acoustic instruments. As you can see, I love to be able to just grab anything that I want and record it, because it breathes life into what, the rest of it is synthesized. It's samples of things. And, all the Irish whistles, I've got a whole wall of 60 or 70 of them that just evoke all of these emotional senses. And they don't have to be Irish. You can play them in many different ways. It can sound ethnic. It can sound ancient. And so I love bringing in the acoustic, the organic, the intimacy, and yet this big sound also that sounds cinematic. But Sky, Andrew's daughter, singing on that, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It's just perfect for that. And to hear Andrew says he loves that, I just love to hear that because I respect Andrew so much. And I'm just excited to be involved in this project.
Man, yeah. Well, the soundscape then matured. Obviously, we came back to you in 2017 to work on the short film, and we did something interesting. We were really wanting to get the Nashville kind of influence of different songwriters and so forth, and so we brought in Arcadian Wild, which we'll get to talk to them in a few minutes, to think about the song. Obviously, we had this Hololor song that was part of the short film, the big moment on the cliff with Lily, as she's kind of singing the story of the history of this rare object. And they helped do that. And then Isaac and the team came along to actually produce some of the melodies and think about writing different cues that then you were able to bring to life fully. Tell us a little bit about that. That's new, because I think previously you've really taken from scratch. This was working with someone else to collaborate. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, that was an exciting process because, like you said, we wanted to bring in some of these sounds that represent Nashville. And, Nashville, you have country, you have bluegrass, but you think acoustic, mandolins and fiddles and guitars and all that sort of stuff. And that's what these guys bring to the table, guys and gals. And I loved it's always fun to collaborate because they bring something that you wouldn't have thought of, and then you challenge them with something, maybe a playing style that they wouldn't normally go to. So you just get this combination of sounds that, 1 + 1 is 3. And sometimes it's more work because you're experimenting with things, but then the finished end product is so much stronger because you just hear these organic elements that, I was just listening to the other day. I was like, wow, I forgot about that part. That sounds great because the mandolin is following the melody that I wrote, or I'm scoring the melody that they wrote. And it just brings a liveliness to it that you don't get with a single composer.
When we first start talking about, a score, an underscore, this kind of thing, I know one of the things you like to know is what's the emotional palette, like where are we headed? For Wingfeather Saga, it's this interesting, whimsical, but epic. You've got epic for days, obviously, even that little teaser we just heard. When you think about the whimsical parts, how does that fit together in your mind and as you started working on the short film?
I think the whimsical, you go back to my VeggieTales days, whether that was whimsical or slapstick Looney Tune stuff. I've written a lot of that too, and I've got shelves of whimsical instruments and noisemakers and slide whistles and stuff. So I love that juxtaposition between, okay, we're serious, but oh, wait a minute, we're tongue-in-cheek here, little fun here. And I love, I've had to do that in the past. Let's say, for example, writing a silly song with Mike Naraki, where he'll bring together two completely different styles of songs that I never would have combined. Well, now it's my challenge to combine those. So in this case, how do we get the whimsical and how do we get the serious, big cinematic? And that's a fun challenge for me. I love those boxes. I'd prefer to have a box to paint within as opposed to, oh, here, do whatever you want. Well, what does that mean? So So for you to say, hey, we need whimsical and cinematic, we need these instruments, we need, this Nashville sound. I like those challenges because then it gives me a direction to head into.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And for those who don't know, Kurt and I got to work together again on the Slugs and Bugs show that's out there in the world, and which Andrew was a part of getting that launched and going. And those sessions with Nashville's players, was that was an epic experience. And it's funny because I thought, we're doing this kind of light kids show similar to VeggieTales with Slugs and Bugs, and yet we brought in these amazing players. And they brought so much to life. So I think that there's some walls that maybe people might think of when they're thinking about the kind of music that a different show might need, this kind of thing. And I love that we get to explore all facets of that. That we don't rule out a certain style of music because of the type of story we're doing or the audience. That it's. I know for Slugs and Bugs, it was like, well, this is more sophisticated than the audience really needs. They could just do synth stuff and we'd be fine. They could, but wouldn't it be great if it was real? Wouldn't it be awesome if we gave them some of the best players in Nashville? And that was a great experience, man. Great to work with you on that too.
Yes.
Well, it's been great having you on the journey with us, and thank you so much for all that you did on the short film itself, just to make it come to life.
It was awesome.
I remember when we first started, you talked about this, the intimidation of working with Andrew. You were like, okay, so what's Andrew think? Like, you could care less what I thought. It was like, whatever. But it's like, how's Andrew feeling about this?
Rumor has it that he was like, wait, doesn't he just play tuba and accordion? What's he going to do with this stuff?
I just stand in awe of you. Like all the gifting that you have is completely different from whatever gifting I have. Like I don't even know where to begin. So like the first moment that I heard the epic version of My Love Has Gone Across the Sea, I was like, Chris, you have made a great decision. Kurt is the man for this job. I was so happy. And really, like, it just is, I agree with you about the organic sounds being such a crucial part of the thing. Like I'm an acoustic guitar player guy. So, but I also love cool production. But to me, the mashup of the two is where the sweet spot is, and you just nailed it. So thanks, man. Thanks for believing.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to, be doing my part, and that's what it is. It's just one part of this whole puzzle. People don't understand how big of a production. Hey, let's make a little cartoon. Okay, $5 million later, we can start. And I know you're going to be heading into this, Chris, but while I've got the screen, I've got a little Arcadian Wild story. My son plays viola, and he was in a recording session out in Memphis, and I popped my head in, and the other guys that were with him were all University of Memphis students. And one of them at a break just happened to say, blah, 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 Arcadian Wild, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Arcadian? And I popped my head in, and I was like, Arcadian Wild? And he's like, oh, yeah, man, I love that group. I've been following them. And then when I heard they were involved with Hutchmoot, that made it all the more awesome. And I was like, well, I just happened to write a score with him. He's like, whoa. So that was really exciting to hear somebody that's following Arcadian Wild.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, man. Yeah, they're great. Everybody's going to get to hear from them very, very soon. Kurt, thanks for dropping by and sharing your studio time with us. It's good to see you, buddy.
Hey, it was great to see you all. I can turn off this green screen now, and
that's right.
Yeah, this is not my studio; it's somebody else's. It's great to see you. Great to see you, Andrew, and it's going to be a fun time ahead here.
That's right.
Congratulations on everything. So,
thanks.
All righty.
Thank you.
Adios.
Man, that's so good. Yeah, Andrew, I hadn't watched that teaser in a long time, and I pulled it up to send to him as reference, and was like, oh my gosh. So anyways, all right, there's our updated total, folks. 4.882. Oh my gosh. We're about to get 4.9. Here we golly. Okay, so we're about to get $5 million to fund all of season 1. We've been selling shares for today is day 20. We've been out there selling shares in our company. You get to be on the ground floor. I've had a lot of questions that I've had to answer on the little investor panel, but about am I just funding like episode 1 or episode 2? Whatever. No, you're invested in the whole animated series. So as it goes out and does all of its things, you're in it with us all through. We've said this a few times, but please only invest what you can afford. I know in the energy that we have as we're finishing, there's kind of you may kind of rush. Hey, be careful. We're going to do our very best, but you absolutely could lose whatever you invest with us. So we're not going to guarantee a return. We're going to work really hard to get that back. But you can learn more at angel.com/wingfeather, angel.com/wingfeather about the shares we have available. Once we get to 5 million and are sold out, that's it. You can't message Andrew and myself and ask, can I still get in? It's all we're allowed to sell with the SEC. So there is a wait list that will engage once that's done for about a week for anybody that isn't able to complete their transaction for whatever reason. Andrew, I got a couple more people here. Blake from Texas, $100. Ashley from Texas, $338. Jody from California, $100. Deb, from Ohio, $100. Will from West Virginia, $100. Kirsten from Minnesota, $100. Nikki from North Carolina, $100. Kevini from Georgia, $1,000. Thank you. Michael from Pennsylvania, $100. Hannah from Missouri, $100. Lay from Texas, $100. Christopher from Tennessee, $100. Neil from Ohio, $100. Kyle from California, $600. Philip from Pennsylvania, $100. Jola from Minnesota, $100. Michelle from Minnesota, $250. Jennifer from Kentucky, $500. Thank you, Jennifer. And Matt from Virginia, $100. John from Washington, $100, and Justin from Washington, $350. The cool thing, we've been doing the math for a while. Like if everybody just jumped in and did $100, there'd be so many thousands of people that get to go in this journey with us, and that's really cool. So don't feel any pressure to go more than that. I know a bunch of you are, and we're so thankful for what you're doing with us. But that's awesome. Okay. We are so excited to welcome our friends that were just we had a great journey going through this together. It was new for everybody, right? So Kurt mentioned a second ago, but bringing in an existing band and asking them to kind of write some score cues and influence that. And so Isaac and Lincoln of Arcadian Wild jumped in on that with us, and we are glad to welcome them to our live stream.
Hey!
What's up?
We made it.
Good to see you guys.
What's up, fellas?
Yeah, you too.
Y'all too. Thanks for having us.
You guys look great.
It's been a little while. Lincoln, I don't know if Isaac told you we were at a coffee shop over on 12th Avenue, the whole fam, and we went in, we're doing our order, and it's all the distant stuff, so it was all kind of awkward. And the kids are like,
we can't like
that
tell
guy,
if it's
yeah, you're like, I think that's their eyes, but I'm not sure. But my kids were like, Dad, I think that's Isaac over there. I think that's Isaac, Arcadian Wild. You should go say hey. And I was like, I'm the hooded guy in the corner. I'm not sure. And so anyways, yeah, dude. So good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to be here with you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, so we just talked to Kurt for a little bit, who was such a great composer with us on the short film. And if you remember, we approached you guys and like, hey, we have this weird song that Andrew wrote the text for, but we have no idea what it needs to feel like, and kind of set it in front of you. If you can remember, kind of take us back to that moment of getting those lyrics and trying to think about a song with these really weird words like holalore and holalel.
That's all wrong, Chris. That's not the words at all. It's holore and holore. But it's okay. It's okay. Not a big deal.
So bad.
Here's the fun thing was I remember talking to one of you guys, maybe it was both of you guys, and being like, okay, so for this song, there's this lyric, but what I want is for it to sound like Irishy, but not really Irishy, a little bit bluegrassy, but not really bluegrassy, but also kind of like medieval, ancient, like, so some combination of like ancient, medieval, Irish, bluegrass, folk, magical. And you guys do it. And then you did.
Just totally amorphous. Not really sure what it needed to be.
What was the process like? What was the process like when you guys sat down to do this?
Man. Well, it feels like it was a different life ago. But I mean, it was definitely like we like as a band sort of just got into a room and just spent hours like bouncing ideas and just trying everything. That's sort of something that like we tend to do our best to always do, is just like any idea that we have, we just chase it down. Like even if it's like this, that's probably not going to work. That sounds that's going to sound bad. It's like, well, let's see where it goes. Especially, yeah, whenever the prompt that you're given is just kind of, 10 things, all at the same time, but which is really no things at once.
Well, I think we were nervous because, Andrew, you like wrote the text for it, so it was kind of nice to like have the pressure of generating a lyric taken away, but then like you have this like ethereal idea in your head of what it needs to sound like, and we have to like try and hit that, which felt like we kind of felt like imposters, like stumbling through that process a little bit. But like Isaac just said, like we just kind of like kicked the tires on lots of different like very silly ideas and hit lots of dead ends, but then eventually found something that seemed to check all of the boxes that we sort of talked about with you.
Yeah,
so it was really funny. That was the first lyric that we had ever tried to arrange music for that we hadn't ourselves written. So that was kind of a funny process.
And like kind of where it landed too, it's like, okay, like what from Celtic music can we keep here? It's like, okay, well then there's lots of like 6/8 Celtic stuff. So let's put it in that. Let's like, so we stole that from that realm, and then like, okay, how can it be bluegrassy? Well, let's have like a cool mandolin lick that is like the hook, because then that's sort of bluegrassy. And then like medieval, what can we do? Well, let's just do like ancient like chant like in the harmonies. So we kind of like tried to identify some like key characteristics of all of those things that you gave us, and then throw them together and like mix it up and like what let's see what happens. I don't know.
That's what's amazing. Like I just love that moment in the short film. As soon as you hear that guitar part come in, it you feel exactly what the scene wants you to feel. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it comes in and you're like, oh my goodness, something crazy is about to happen. And the other thing, you guys are such good musicians. And like if you guys at home don't know the Arcadian Wild, just look them up, because it's just crazy good music. And a few times people, even in this campaign, people have been like, Andrew, do you think you could play Jürgen's tune? And I'm like, oh no. No, I can't.
Man, I don't know if we can play Jürgen's tune, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, but I did ask on the front end, Andrew. I said, "Hey, could they play it tonight?" And I think, do you guys think you could swing one?
We'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, whenever. I think we can get like we can probably get like 70% of the notes. That's like a C. That's not
good.
Bad. That's passing.
Yeah. Let's jump in. Let's do that, and then we can talk about score.
Ooh, yeah, sure. It's funny singing something as a duo that was meant for a trio with a female. That'll be
on the lead.
This will be fun.
We'll do our best. The other words?
Oh yeah, I should make sure. There aren't that many, but it's hard to remember because I'm nervous. All right.
Down beneath the earth you go, away fast asleep. Hello, lady, how dark is the deep. Down beneath the earth you go away fast asleep. Fast to sleep. Fast to sleep, dark alone in the day. Rise again,
good. It's so good.
Wow.
It's
Spooky.
Hey, will your new band T-shirt just say Arcadian Wild Raise the Rock?
Yeah. That's good.
Well, you'd have Jurgen going like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
totally like that
kind
moment.
of,
That's like raise the rock fist.
Yeah.
That's that moment for sure.
That's solid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you delivered this song, and we all had this like, whoa, that was amazing. And then you started the process of writing cues, and I would go to you with like notes from Tom, who directed, and I would kind of give you like, hey, here's the where this next moment needs to feel like, and you started working on those cues, and that was something. Obviously, Isaac, you've got some musical composition in your background, but this is new. Talk about that process of kind of thinking through and making those come to life.
Yeah, well, like you said, it was totally new, and again, it was so nice to have Kurt there, because as just this sort of like I knew that it like wasn't totally like we were just sort of like we were there to have ideas and to influence, sort of like you said, and then like we would any sort of ideas that we would have, we would send off to Kurt. And then he would be the one to orchestrate and sort of like bring these ideas to life and like make tweaks. And it was so cool to get your notes and Tom's notes and then to just kind of try something like, I don't know, how about this? Again, never done this before. Like, this is how, like, this makes me feel. Who knows if it makes like if it hits the scene right or hits the key right, and then to send it off to Kurt, and for him to come back with like, okay, now there's like that instrument is actually turned into this. It started out on a clarinet, but what if we put it in the French horn or what and like he would sort of like I think really like what we did was more of sort of like present like bones to the table, and sometimes just like a femur or whatever. And then Kurt would like put like flesh on it and like turn it into a whole leg or whatever, or a body.
Wow, really,
what a horrible metaphor,
Metaphor
really visceral.
Yeah. Anyway, it was really honestly, it was sort of like this. I mean, it was an incredibly learning experience and so exciting to have an idea and then to filter it through Kurt, and for the thing that comes out on the other end for me to be like, oh yeah, I can still pick out like, here's this idea, but just the way that he glued everything together. And that was so cool to kind of have, nuggets of your ideas like thrown back at you and be like, oh, that's right. That's what I meant. That's the way it was supposed to be. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Kurt.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you guys were such troopers for it too.
It was fun. It was a blast. Seriously.
Thank you guys.
Man.
So much.
Well, okay. So folks, if you haven't listened to Arcadian Wild, go check out their stuff. It's available all the places. We're such big fans of you guys. I want to pause and say, because of that great song, you got us to $4.9 million.
Let's
Oh
go.
my word.
We're
Play it
doing
again.
it.
Play it again. Play it again.
So
Really?
we're 7,720 people have jumped in with us. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? It's just like, I don't even
That's
know what's
amazing,
happening.
you guys.
It does feel like
excited.
a lifetime ago, though, right? I mean, it was just 2017. We were sitting down working on this, but it does like so much as like we've all gone and done things, and to get to come back to this, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited. Like Kurt said there at the end, like I think we're so honored to just play such a, small role in the whole thing. And I know how much you, Chris, and also Andrew, obviously have slaved over this and just poured your heart and your soul and your blood and your sweat into this for so many years. And I'm just so excited for you guys. And I'm so excited for everyone that these stories mean so much to us included, and I'm just so excited to just take it all in, and just to be on this journey and just and to play such a small role. It's an honor, and I'm so
awesome,
pumped
man.
for you guys. It's so awesome. Can't wait.
Thank you. Well, thank you for playing for us just a second ago, and so glad to have you. Good to see you guys. It's been a little bit. We'll see you around town, and thanks for dropping by. We'll see you later.
Thanks for having us.
See
you, dudes.
Meanwhile,
I don't think Raise the Rock's going to catch, Andrew.
I saw them like slowly going like this.
We'll do a remix version, a little EDM or something. So AP, we're 4.9. What do you think about that?
I think it's crazy. I think it's great. Yeah, it's wonderful.
So everybody keeps asking, I don't know if you get this question, but I keep getting this question. So Chris, did you expect it to be like this? And I'm like, no, I mean, you have your dreams, you have your fears. Like, I don't know about you, like it's highs and lows of, I think we talked about this. We could launch and say, hey, we're doing a thing, and total faceplant, and nobody cares. Right. But instead a whole lot of people care.
Yeah,
it's really amazing.
It really is something. Of course you have high hopes that it's going to go, but I mean, we prayed the night before, and just were like, I don't even know how to talk about it, but it felt like we were standing on the edge of a cliff, like the night before this thing was going to go live, because who knows what's going to happen, And the fact that here we are 20 days out, and we're almost across the finish line is, I mean, in my wildest dreams, this is what would happen. I just hoped it would happen. And so here we are. So thanks everybody. Thanks for believing in it. I'm so thankful.
Hey, I want to quickly run through. We've got a handful of people that have jumped in with us here, probably during the song. So I'm telling you, Arcadian, they just did their work. Hillary from Illinois, $1,000. Jonah from Indiana, $100. Karen from Pennsylvania, $120. Julie from Michigan, $250. James from Minnesota, or from Mississippi, sorry, $100. Baja from Florida, $250. Melissa from Texas, $500. Margot from New Hampshire, $200. Deborah from Georgia, $100. Julie from Missouri, $500. Ben from Kansas, $200. Margot, that one's again. Ralph from Kentucky, $100. Roxanne from Michigan, $250. Roberta from Arizona, $100. Evan from North Carolina, $100. Daniel from California, $100. Mark from Texas, $200. Matthew from Virginia, $200. Nicole from Hawaii, hello, $100. Jessica from Georgia, $100. Christine from Missouri, $100. Seth from New York, $1,200. Ben from Georgia, $250. Colleen from Texas, $2,000. Thank you, Colleen. Tina from Illinois, $100. Micah from Illinois, $250. Heath from Wisconsin, $350. Mark from Texas, $10,000. Wow. Thank you, Mark from Texas. Nathan from Indiana, $1,000. Ye from Michigan, $350. Elizabeth from Pennsylvania, $500. Kay from Tennessee, $200. Flip from Texas, $100. David from New Jersey, $250. Tanita from South Carolina, $100. Jenny from Oklahoma, $250. Rebecca from Indiana, $100. Sheila from Louisiana, $100. And Jonathan from Ohio, $350. Whew. That's so much fun to call your names, and thank you. I know a bunch of you messaged back like, "Hey, thanks for calling my name out." You're all investors with us that you're going to get to hear from us a lot over these next few years. We've said it a couple times, but we plan to take all of the revenue that we earn from the series, and people have asked a lot of questions about this, Andrew. I don't know how much you've gotten, but hey, how does the series get revenue? And there's a number of ways. The intent is the show is free, much like others on Angel's platform, like Dry Bar Comedy and The Chosen, where the show is accessible to lots of people. And then we will, of course, have some really fun merch. We're actually starting those discussions now about T-shirts. And Jamie wants, what does she want? Andrew, what does Jamie want? There it is.
In Target.
Action figures.
We'll be happy
okay,
until
so
she sees it.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be, yeah. So all those kind of fun things that will be places that people can engage and have fun with us, and that will help support the series. So for the time being, all the money we make from that sort of stuff will go back into season 2 and season 3 and building it out. And that's so plan to be with us for a while, for a number of years, as we all get to use these resources to make a really cool series. And season 1, 6 episodes. This last little bit is funding episode 6, the season finale. and it's a ringer. For those of you that have read the book, we're largely season 1 is going to follow the first book in the series, On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. This one right here. So most people have read this, I hope. If not, go read it or get the audiobook. It's awesome. It is so good. Our family has loved these. We've read them over and over. But we're going to follow basically the first book for season 1, 6 episodes. We'll kind of track that story through. That does not mean that each season will be the next book, that kind of thing. So just to be clear, we're going to go and tell as many seasons as we can, as many episodes. It's not like, do you remember, Andrew, when Lost was running and nobody knew how long Lost was going to go, and you could tell because there was like the filler episodes where you don't know, and so we're going to know, but we could go long or we could go short. We would love to go long. It'll really depend on the audience response, which we hope to have those episodes out about a year and a half. So late next year, we should have episodes out for everybody to watch. So excited.
There's something really nice about knowing the ending of the story. Like so many series start and they have this kind of vague sense of where it's going, and they just kind of like make it up as they go. And with the Wingfeather Saga, starting with episode 1 of season 1, we have the ending in mind. We know where it's going. And so being able to craft a story, being able to shape each season according to this arc that we know is coming, is just this huge advantage. It's like such a cool way to get to tell a story. And so, and it, like it's kind of cool to me too, because not very many television shows get to do that, And so we have this like bookended thing, this beginning, middle, and an end already in mind, gives us so many advantages. And as far as how we tell the story, how we choose which parts of the story to focus on, and where to stretch our legs. And so it's really, really exciting.
And there's not many of these series out for families. We've talked about this in some of the pitch materials and stuff, that like for families to sit down and watch a chapter by chapter experience, in television series. There's movies that have that kind of, like Marvel Universe does that a bit, right? Where you're kind of going through a journey with some characters. Adults have that, but a lot of kids material in particular is just cyclical. It's not a narrative arc driving through. And that's one of the things that I, as executive producer, got super excited about this. Like, hey, we know where we're going, and it's just about where do we want to frame up. So can't wait to show you guys what we've whipped up here. Some people have asked, Andrew, are we going to be faithful to the books? And I know we've talked about this, but of course, the story is going to be the story. And the great thing about partnering with Angel Studios is that we have creative control on the show we want to make. They're an awesome distribution and marketing partner, but we get to choose how the show gets made, and we're so excited about that freedom. But we want it to be a fresh experience. So just so we're clear, so if you've read the books, sometimes adaptations can be really derivative, where it's like it's page for page, but in a way that's like there's nothing fresh and new. And I think what we're super excited about, which you even saw even in just that short pilot, is that we actually got to have some of that, right? Some of that like, ooh, that's new. Ooh, that's fun. Ooh, both visually and both in storytelling. So we want to make this a fresh experience for everybody that gets in the story. But we're going to be pretty faithful to the books because Andrew's right there. He's sitting with us.
I was going to say too that the heart of the books is the important thing. You know what I mean? Like the visual storytelling and the way you tell a story in a book are two different mediums completely. And so so there are some things that just won't quite work on screen in the way that they work. So then we have to get creative and figure out a way. How do we convey the heart of this thing and stay true to what the Wingfeather Saga is really about? In a visual medium. So, and we've mentioned this before, but there's some really cool things that, like, I love collaboration. I love bringing a bunch of different imaginations to bear on one idea. That's how it works in the studio. When I write a song, I go to the producer and I say, hey, here's the bare bones of the thing. And then the producer kind of helps you augment it. He takes the song and he goes, if we bring in this person or we bring in this person, if we change the shape a little bit this way, the song becomes something more than I could have done alone by a long stretch. And so even with the short film, I remember some of the production design. I think it might be Tom who came up with the idea that why don't we bump the town of Glipwood right up close to the edge of the Dark Sea? And that allowed for all these cool visuals. Like every town scene, you can see these ravines because the town is built on the edge of the cliff. And I was like, that's so much cooler than what I wrote in the book. I wish I had thought of that when I was writing edge. But those kind of possibilities of like, how do we make this thing even more striking and exciting? While at the same time, the world is hopefully broad enough and rich enough that there's all these like fun little footnotes that show up in the books that we can explore a little bit, in the series. So who knows? But the possibilities are pretty great.
Hey, so a bunch of you folks tuning in know this, but some of you don't. Some of you know Andrew here is the author of this great book series, and that's awesome. But some of you don't know that he's actually longer experience as a songwriter and has been doing this for a very long time. And so we asked Andrew, hey, we feel like it'd be remiss doing these live streams if we didn't have a chance to hear some music from you. And so he agreed. Jurgen's tune and My Love Has Gone Across the Sea have both already been played. So we kind of played you out on the Wingfeather side. But you had a song in mind that I thought we could listen to now.
Well, so this is a song that I don't play a whole lot. And it's been a while since I've played a whole lot of music. And I'm sorry that the lighting in here isn't great, but whatever. So COVID has kind of like put a stop, or it did put a stop to a lot of live music, obviously. And so I had a show last night, and I remember sound checking and realizing that the calluses were gone on my fingers from playing guitar because I hadn't been doing shows, and I've been busy doing other stuff. So it's kind of nice to dust off the guitar and remember how much I love to play music. I hope I never stop. But this is a song called Windows in the World, and it's one that I wrote years ago, probably 10 years ago. And it opens with the line, so you're sitting at the movies, you're watching how the story finds a way, and you've seen it all before, but still you love to see the hero save the day. And each verse kind of explores this idea that there's something in us that wakes up when we experience a good story. There's something in us that wakes up at different times in our lives. And C.S. Lewis wrote quite a bit about how it does we need to pay attention to those moments in our lives where you're crying when you don't know why, or you feel a stab of joy, or you're struck by the beauty of something. And it pays off to like stop and consider, why is it that my heart is tuned to resonate right now? And those breadcrumbs, so to speak, I believe lead you to Jesus. And so I had written the first couple verses of this song and didn't really know what the last verse was going to be. But I happened to go to a friend's wedding that weekend. And I used to not like going to weddings just because I'm kind of grumpy. I didn't want to spend any money on the wedding present. That's not really true, but it's kind of true. And but at some point, I just fell in love with weddings because a wedding is such a rich picture of the story the Bible tells us. So since we're working on a story here, and I believe that stories have this power, I thought this was a good song to play. So here we go. I'm already messed it up.
So you're sitting at the movies, you're watching how the story finds a way, and you've seen it all before, still you love to see the hero save the day. It's a window in the world, a little glimpse of all the goodness getting through. And all along the way the days are made, little moments of truth. Oh, and every Sunday morning you can see the people standing in a line, and they're so hungry for some mercy, for a taste of the communion bread and wine. It's a window in the world, a little glimpse of all the goodness getting through. And all along the way the days are made, little moments of truth. It's the way the clouds are burning from the angle of the light, as the earth is slowly turning you to meet it. And you're watching at your window at the ending of the night, It's as plain as day, so any fool could see it. It's a window in the world. I can see the groom is waiting. He's watching for the moment she appears. Whew, man, sorry. My son just got married last week, and I just had this picture in my head of him seeing his bride walking down the aisle to him. And sorry, I got emotional. I can see the groom is waiting. He's watching for the moment. I can't do it. Wow, sorry. He's watching for the moment she appears. And they are laying down their lives for love, and love is laying waste to all my fears. It's a window in the world, a little glimpse of a little portal where you get a better view. And the wonder of it all is all you need to see the goodness getting through. And all along the way the days are made, little moments. All along the way the road is paved with little moments of truth. I didn't think I was going to make it. Thank you.
You didn't know you were stepping a landmine on that song. Gee whiz.
I really didn't think about the fact that I was going to – yeah, I wasn't thinking about the wedding last week. But the look on Asher's face when Olivia showed up was just priceless. And she was so beautiful, and them coming together. And that's the story that the Bible tells us is the end of the whole story of the world, you know. And so I love the way that stories and these little pictures are moments where God just kind of opens up, like lifts the veil, and you go, oh, that's true, you know. So anyway, thanks for listening. Sorry I goofed it up.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I know you have to go in just a few minutes, but hey, don't go anywhere, anybody, because we're actually pretty excited. So to just update you, we are so close to funding the full $5 million for season 1. We have seen amazing support. It's day 20, and we're so excited. We wanted to have a little surprise guest here that some of you may have seen his name. He, longtime colleague, been around, was at Big Idea for a while on VeggieTales, then over back at DreamWorks for a long time on the How to Train Your Dragon series. It's been at Disney for a few years, and now on to some new things. So I wanted to take a minute and welcome our dear friend Tom Owens to join us on the stream. Yay!
Oh. What's up? Hey!
Hey, buddy.
It's so good to see you, man.
That was adorable. Like I was as you were struggling
adorable.
To get that out.
Thanks, man. Can I use that as a blurb on my next one? Adorable.
So
That's right. He has adorable things that he makes.
That's right.
Man, it's good to see you.
Good to see you guys too.
Tom and I got to work together a little bit on VeggieTales. There was a season at DreamWorks where between projects they would have a little downtime, and so Tom got to do a VeggieTales movie with us, Beauty and the Beat. That was the Beauty and the Beast thing, and that was super fun. And then when it came time to bring this short film to life, I was like, "Hey, Tom, you want to try something?" And man, you just poured yourself into it, and we're so thankful. You made some pretty amazing stuff. Tell me about what kind of hooked you, what got you excited about Wingfeather when you were starting to work on that.
Oh man, certainly the books are delightful, and actually, to be fair, I did only read the first book, and I was excited about it, and then as I was working on it, I remember you kept leaning on me. You got to read the rest of the books, and then when I finally did, it was just crushing. I'm like, man, these are great. They're just fantastic, and I'm still bummed that one scene. Remember that one of the first things that I storyboarded was the thing with the the cow chasing the boy,
or the toothy cow chasing Janner.
Yeah. That scene, I still like. I'll use that as a portfolio piece forever. I'm really proud of that board.
It's so good. Yeah, it's out there. It's still out there, I think, on YouTube. It was one of our bonus features. That's really cool. For people that thought they kind of understood the world, we thought, let's show them a toothy cow. And you totally rocked that sequence, man. Yeah. If you don't know, so Tom works in the story department. So in animation, there's a screenplay, and then there's some storyboards that actually bring to life visually like what we're going to see, and then the animators then animate. Okay, so Tom knows this, but in the studio world, there's a bit of competition between the story department and then the actual animators about who's really making the most impact on screen. Tom, your boards are just fantastic and emotionally evocative and so alive. And you just, after the film, you've gone on to other things, but you just had a fantastic action sequence in Raya and the Last Dragon, right?
Well, yeah, there's a good chunk of the middle of the movie that are several scenes strung together. That's all my stuff. So I got to do some cool stuff. But from the time that Raya and the gang go into, I think, Tong's hut, and then they capture him and tie him around the post, and then the villain shows up and she goes out and has to fight her. That's the big fight scene. And then the dragon reveals herself, and then they escape. Even the bit as they're approaching town and they knock on the door and the basket, they get captured. That whole section is all mine. I was really proud of that. It was a fun movie to draw, for sure.
As Andrew said a second ago, I don't know if you heard this part, but one of the things about collaboration is people like yourself get to come in and kind of push and pull things. One of the things you did was push Glipwood, the town that we start our story in, to the edge. You were like, well, shouldn't they be like right at the edge of the cliffs if they're going to watch this Dragon Day thing? What was some of the inspiration for that, and then kind of the rift in the town with the valley and all that stuff?
It seemed to me logical that, like, if they live on the edge of this ridiculously tall cliff, that it would be like a New England town where all the buildings are like almost piled on top of each other, leaning over the edge, because that view, that one thing they get to do every year of just watching the migration of the dragons, is their highlight of the year. That's so it makes sense to me that all the buildings would be right there on the edge. That's the prime real estate, and it seemed funny. And then the idea of having bridges going back and forth between the cleft and the rock seemed also really just cool, and something that you'd want to look at. Something that you want to see a camera fly through, and yeah, it's
one
a
of the things
cool
we
area.
explored. Do you remember there were some boards here? I don't think maybe they were yours, but of when the kids have first had the little encounter with Slarb. And if you've watched our short film, everybody, you kind of know what this is. But there's this moment when the kids have encountered this one Fang who really wants bad things for them, and then they're trying to escape super casual while running out of town. That you actually had them going across the bridge, and you could see some of those lower areas of town. In this idea that there'd be like, cliff edging, housing, and that's all the way down in there, in that, kind of rift in the town. We see it briefly when they come into town over the bridge. Remember that? You get to see a snippet of this, but there was a whole sequence, where down in here, where it was like, what it would be like if there was like buildings like clung to the side of that thing. And we boarded a thing and didn't get to actually use that section. But I know we were talking about that. That'd be like an interesting, like, who lives down there?
Yeah. I mean, for my whole career, even before I was in animation, when I was a kid, and I would look at books on animation, and I'd see those awesome paintings of like layouts from movies, that you never actually got to go there. Like, you'd see these really awesome paintings of really cool places. And I'm like, man, when I see that movie, I want to go see that. And then they don't do it. And that always irked me. Like, I wanted to, create one of those places that you want to go and then actually go and really show it. And I think at one point I was even pushing for the bookstore to be down on that wall of one of the cliffs, just so that you could really go there and spend time in that odd place.
I love how much we talked about this when we were working on it, but having things that are beyond the edge of the frame that are like what was that? That we,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a Miyazaki reference. Like he'd have like shapes and silhouette of things. You're like, what was that about? I don't know. But what does your imagination think it is? I know it's one of the things that, you and I and Keith talked a lot about, just really sparking imagination, right? Like, let's just kind of like let things kind of percolate that are like, what else is happening in this world that is not the main focus of the story, but that I could let my imagination get into, which is some of the paint style. Obviously, we went with the kind of paint motion vibe is to do some of that. Like, we're not going to go pixel perfect like the big studios. We're going to go for this other vibe. And that just had especially when you have people like yourself kind of coming up with really interesting things, like what if, and we run down there and kind of hint at it.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I told you that we couldn't have Oscar on screen, and you were like, okay, so how could we get Oscar to be heard? Because he's got to say some things, and we come up with the tube system.
Yeah.
It was like an old playground thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It just seemed logical to have one of those tubes that you shout through and sound bounces around the building.
Yeah.
And I was like, they do it in anime films a lot. Japanese cartoons often, as a character just moves through a scene where you're establishing, who he is or whatever, and he's working at some place, he'll just walk up to some device on the wall that's got gears and stuff, and he cranks it, and steam comes out, and he walks away from it. Who cares what it does? It was just interesting to look at, and I love that stuff. It's super evocative. It just really puts you, in more of that mood of just, I want to go there. I want to see what that's all about.
Mm-hmm. So tell me of the 15 minutes, what sequence did you feel like was the most successful in the short that you were like, totally got that? I have ideas, but I'm curious what for you was one of your favorite moments.
The breakfast.
Yeah, I knew it. I could have called it.
I just like the conversation, just I like the small moments in movies, and I was really disappointed we couldn't rig the characters to do much big, broad animation, but remember we had the idea that Janner's brother was going to be talking with his mouth full, and so he'd be like, bah, 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 all this stuff in his mouth, and we're like, yeah, we can't do that. But it seemed funny that when the sister was mimicking him, and then the grandpa says, oh, she has you there. She nailed you. She got you right on. And I love that small talky kind of stuff.
Yeah, it makes the world and the family seem very real and alive, right? That it's like we're actively in this world. Those little moments that kind of earn the authenticity. We talked to Nicholas last week, or maybe the week before, rather, just about some of the design, in the world, and of course on the characters, and patches on a piece of clothing, that's the wrong patch or the color or whatever, things like that. I'm curious for you when we think about like the realness of Glipwood as a weird place, right? It's kind of Princess Bride-ish where there's ROUSs running around or whatever. What is one of the kind of key things that you feel like you got to bring to life in there that was like, oh yeah? I mean, I know we talked about Toothy Cows a second ago, but are there other elements that for you kind of anchored in like, yeah, now I'm watching a fantasy?
I think when the kids set off, there's just that cool painting of just looking at that landscape and headed off toward that land, and I was really excited about the scene in the bookshop. I liked Slarb peering in from the window and suddenly realizing, oh, there they are. I've got them. I can capture them. I like that stuff.
Yeah. Let's take it. No. Let's take it. That was one that I remember when you pitched that. Like,
yeah.
Yep. That's totally gonna work, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that short
that's
film
what you
is
do, right? If you encounter something like that, like I when I'm boarding, that's just what I think of. It's like if I'm in that situation, that seems right. Let's take it now. Let's take it. Like, it seems like a good argument for two brothers to have.
Yeah, and I think that to folks watching here, that's some of what Tom brought to life in the short film with us was just this alive world that the story department really got to own. And we had a great script going in, kind of gave us a good idea. We knew what we were going into, but then there's so many elements that you brought to life in just little moments that like suddenly that was like, wow, you know, and it wasn't just you, obviously you were directing other artists. I'm thinking of like, Erica's boards from the end. Do you remember she did the homecoming when Poto's got his lantern and all that business? I remember those. They were like really beautifully rendered. And it was like she had all the light sourcing and the empty house and all that cool stuff. Some stuff we actually didn't get to show in the short, but that set of boards was beautiful. And it's that making real that the story department really gets to do, you know, before the animators even step in, which gives the animators all kinds of inspiration to then do their task. Yeah, that was nobody ever gets to see the boards really. It's always behind the scenes stuff. I've gotten to see a bunch of your boards for movies you've worked on, and they're always so cool because there's so much of like, oh yeah, no, I can see exactly how that translated into the final film.
Yeah, I that stuff gets me excited, and I liked, you know, the opening, the poem. You know, I've always really liked the idea of starting that on that creepy poem, and the, you know, it reminded me of the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which used to terrify me as a kid. I don't know if anybody even watches that anymore. The idea that guy's going around town going like hunting kids is creepy.
Do you remember our first, maybe our first or our second pitch meeting over at a studio that I won't name, and the guy said, "Yeah, that black carriage thing. Yeah, we're not doing that. That's too scary." Remember that? And it was like, what? And then he asked, "Are there going to be swords in the world?" Yeah, they're going to be swords. Yeah, we're not going to do swords. We're both like, what?
Yeah, well, that's been a frustration of mine since the 90s. I mean, you know, working in television animation in the 90s, all the cartoons that we made, they had these broadcast standards and practices notes like you can't have broken glass for any reason, because broken glass is dangerous. And so, you know, I worked on Goof Troop, and like they couldn't throw a baseball through a window. And I mean, not that you can get around that, you can make a better story, but it's like to hamstring your storytellers by saying no sharp objects, no scary things, nothing, that's too scary, that's too this, that's too that. And it just really takes all the fun out of things. I'm like, didn't you guys grow up watching The Wizard of Oz? Like, that was intense and it's great. Yeah. That was the highlight of my year every year, watching that on television when I was a kid. And you know, and yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because of streaming services, now we can get that stuff back.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Andrew and I are keenly excited about with Wingfeather Saga, is just this idea that we can bring a really rich story. Because as we do that, like, it's a little scary for kids, maybe it's a little like thrilling and a little edgy, but for adults and the rest of the family, like, and I'm in, right? It's like it earns the spot that you have to have a sense of peril for there to be a rescue, you know, and of course, in an epic journey like we have here, that's going to be so necessary. So. Dude, it's good to see you.
If the villain isn't scary, who cares if they get overcome? It just doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't work. If you give somebody a good, honest person to be intimidated by and scared of, just again, like the Wicked Witch of the West used to scare me to death when I was a kid. And when Dorothy finally takes that bucket of water and splashes it on her, and then she dissolves, it was so satisfying. It was just really wonderful.
Yeah, it's like the Chesterton. I think it was attributed to Chesterton that kids know that dragons exist. So telling them that dragons don't exist is kind of senseless. But what they want to know is that dragons can be beaten, right?
Can be
that's
beaten.
What we want to. Yeah. Like, let's give them that. Like, here's how. You don't be afraid. They can have a pail of water thrown on them and it goes away. Dude, it's good to see you. Thanks for jumping on this evening and spending a few minutes with us. Thank you so much for all that you invested in that short, and so many people have gotten to see it, enjoy it, and just love it. And it's certainly opened up the opportunity we have now to step into a series. So Appreciate all your hard work there.
All right, Chris. Good to see you.
See you, buddy. Awesome. So that was Tom Owens. If you don't know, he's the guy that directed our amazing short film pilot that so many of you guys have seen. I mentioned a second ago, sorry if that was awkward, but Andrew did have to step away. He had a prior obligation, but we were so excited to get to bring Tom on for a little bit there. Y'all, we are still cranking here. Let's see, what's our latest total? I haven't looked in a minute, but we are closing in on our $5 million funding. I'm Chris, executive producer of Wingfeather Saga animated series. So glad to have you on this, our likely last live stream. We'll probably pop on to say thank you and finish off, but we set out 20 days ago, 20 days, y'all, to raise $5 million in investments towards making season 1 of the Wingfeather Saga animated series on these fine books here. And you guys have shown up in strength. You've set some records. We've had people writing about it in lots of different places because it's pretty landmark what's happening here. We're really setting off to do something that hasn't happened before. I had a friend talking about this, just kind of the shift in entertainment that's saying there's people like you who have invested to go make something exist, and you get to be a part of that process. It's not a Kickstarter. You're not going to donate. We don't want donations. We want you to buy shares in our company. And when we go make something and it's awesome, and if it's successful, you get to share in that. So if you have already jumped in with us, thank you. So good to have you. You're going to spend the next few years with us as we make this multi-season animated series. We're starting with season 1, 6 episodes in season 1, which will cover largely the first book, and then it's open from there. So we're so excited to welcome you. I've got a few names I want to read off, just people that have recently jumped in. Kelsey from Alaska, $1,000. Sarah Catherine from Tennessee, $350. Thank you. Timothy from Utah, $350. Jennifer from California, $100. Kyle from Ohio, $1,000. Thank you, Kyle. Kurt from Mississippi, $150. Jason from Missouri, $200. John from North Carolina, $350. Danny from Georgia. Sorry, my page just refreshed. Oh, thank you, Brad. Wow. Okay, there's a lot more here. Gee whiz. Okay, so now it's scrolling. Okay, there we go. Diana from New York, $100. Paul from Colorado, $100. And Joshua from Colorado, $100. Avedna from Minnesota, $100. Danielle from Indiana, $250. Matthew from Texas, $100. Lincoln from Tennessee, $100. Jenny from Tennessee, or Lincoln from Tennessee invested $100, and Jenny from Michigan invested $1,000. Thank you. David from Florida, $650. Zachary from Pennsylvania, $100. Thaddeus from Illinois, $630. Caleb from Pennsylvania, $1,000. Aaron from Georgia, $500. Abraham from Washington, $100. Miranda from West Virginia, hello, $100. Ashley from Georgia, $150. Ethan from New Hampshire, $250. Tanya from Virginia, $260. Amy from Washington, $250. Kristen from Ohio, $1,000. And Andrew from Indiana, $200. There's lots more. We're so excited. One of the things that happened this last week that some of you may not know is that we really kind of set a new record. And just want you to know, we're gonna show this in a minute, but there are crowdfunded efforts, and this is what's interesting about this. Crowdfunded efforts, which are people like Kickstarter, where they donate to go make something exist, right? And then that goes and exists. And if it goes and is really successful and has a bunch of stuff, that's awesome for the creators that worked on it. That's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're actually giving you shares in our company, in Wingfeather Saga, the animated series, not in episode 1 or episode 2 or season 1, in the entire series. You're a part of the company making Wingfeather Saga animated series. And those shares are being sold right now. So angel.com/Wingfeather, there's only so many left. Based on what I'm reading here, it's going to go pretty fast. But as such, crowdfunded, meaning the crowd said, we want this to exist. So the executives at different companies have said, no, we don't think anybody wants that. And trust me, I've heard that for many years. Andrew and I both, Tom and I sat in plenty of meetings where they're like, no, we don't think people are into it. And instead we came to you guys and said, are you guys into it? Because we think this could be really amazing. And maybe I'm alone, but maybe I'm not. And I can't tell you what it means to me personally, to Andrew, to all of us, that you've shown up and said, no, this means something to us and it should exist. So as such, check this out. We actually are the #1 all-time crowdfunded kids show. 5 minutes. That's amazing. Now it's already at the 5 million. We're not cheating here. If you combine with the previous 265 we did on Kickstarter and this, you get that 5, and we're going to go over that very soon. So that's amazing. That's you, the fans, doing that. I'm just kind of the conductor here, helping to corral this. People have been asking what my role, executive producer. So I am the CEO of our company and helping to put this all together and get all the right people in the room. And it's going to be so great. You have no idea. We're so excited about the talent that is coming to help make this series. We'll tell you more about that as we go through this. And the investors are going to get all that inside information, telling you about our team and who all is working on it. Just some brilliant artists. We're so excited. But we're about to close out because as we get to $5 million, that will finish us. And then when we get to $5 million, just so we're clear, oh, hey, Jillian. I know Jillian. When we get to $5 million, that's it. We sell out. So I've said this a couple times, but we're selling shares in our company. It's like these Wingfeather Saga cards. They're so cool, rabbitroom.com. But when they're gone, you can't message Andrew and myself, hey, can you hook me up? We don't have any more. The SEC says this is as many as we can share. Now, all that said, don't freak out. Only invest what you can lose, because like any investment, it's at risk. We're going to do our best to earn that money back for you. But just, we just want to make a great show and see if it can work. Okay. A couple more people have jumped in. Sherry from Missouri, $100. Randy from Florida, $100. Audrey from North Carolina, $350. Nicholas from Texas, $500. Marianne from Georgia, $100. Gabriel from California, $5,000. Thank you, Gabriel, for believing us so much. That's awesome. Diane from Arkansas, $100. Riedel. Oh gosh, I messed your name up. From Texas, $500. Thank you. Ronald from Arkansas, $100. Susanna from Alabama, $250. Mark from Missouri, $100. Douglas from California, $100. Michelle from Michigan, $100. Russ from Alabama, $100. Right down the road from us here in Nashville. Clara from Colorado, $350. Casey from Wisconsin, $100. Hannah from Colorado, $200. Robert from New York, $500. Thank you, Robert. Hannah from Oregon, $100. Jacqueline from Alabama, $100. Benjamin from Michigan also jumped in there with $350, and Samantha for $100 from Michigan also. So good to have you guys join us tonight. It's been really super fun getting to catch up with Kurt Heinecke. Like we said, music is such a big part of what we want to do in the series, based here in Nashville. Of course it is. Nashville is known for its authentic music, and we have access to some of the most amazing players, and they're all just really, really genuine people who want to do cool stuff. You think, why would we invite them to an animated, kids fantasy series? Because we can. And like you heard a little bit ago, if you missed it, don't worry, you can go back later and pick it up in the stream. But we got to hear from the Arcadian Wild, great band. Highly recommend, go check out their music if you haven't heard their stuff. We're just thrilled to have the opportunity, y'all. We are closing in on $5 million, which will fund all 6 episodes of season 1. Can you believe it? That's just super fun for us. And we're going to get to work. We're actually working on it right now, getting all the elements in place so we can go make a great series for you guys and get these 6 episodes done. A couple more here real quickly, and then we're going to say goodnight for now. Dara from Georgia, $100. Stephen from Indiana, $350. Christy from Michigan, $100. Melody from Montana, $100. Melanie from Alaska, $100. Melanie, sorry. Meredith from Texas, $250. Sarah from Wisconsin, $200. Meredith from Texas, $250. Brian from North Carolina, $400. Caleb from Kentucky, $1,000. Thank you, Caleb. Oklahoma, Jay, $550. Caleb from South Carolina, $350. And Alan from Maine, $100. So that's amazing. You guys are awesome. We are up to, what's our ticker here? At 7,782 people. $4.926 million. It's so a little under $75,000 left, and that'll finish, I'm sure, sometime tonight. I'm going to set an alarm to wake up and make sure to hop on and stream to Facebook or something in my bleary eye to say thank you. Y'all have done it. We're going to get this. It's happening, and we're so very thankful. Appreciate all of our great people behind the scenes. Just so we're clear, there is a lot of people working on our Angel Studios team that helped to make these live streams possible. We won't be doing any more of these. We're kind of finished early on day 20 here, but we will come back with updates on our progress. And it's really critical, like right now, like how do you want to stay engaged? Because we're not going to do these anymore. Go follow us on socials if you do that. So Wingfeather Saga. We actually have a really cool Wingfeather Saga group on Facebook as well. And so you can go hop out there, and that group is sharing all kinds of fun stuff. The official Wingfeather Saga fan group. So go hop in there. There's always cool stuff being done. And then on Instagram and regular on Facebook. And then, of course, on YouTube, we'll have content we'll put out here. And then wingfeathersaga.com, for those of you that are not on socials, wingfeathersaga.com is where we'll also be sharing lots of stuff about the series, which includes, you're going to hear about this very soon, but a new book coming out this fall. It releases in September, and it is Creaturepedia. So some of you old fans who have the old books like these, our old family copy of the original book, there was a Creaturepedia that was printed years ago, but it's been out of print for a while. Penguin Random House redid it. Aiden got to go back in and redo some illustrations, and super cool. And yeah, that'll be out in September. So you're going to hear about that too. So anyways, it's been an amazing 20 days. We're so thankful for all of you. I want to say thank you to my sweet family who's hanging out over here. Hey, y'all.
Hey, everybody.
Who've been with us week after week as we come out here and talk to you all about what we're doing. I'm going to run through one last list, and then we're going to say good evening to you. Thank you for keeping your families up, hopefully to tune in and get to hear some stuff. Let's see. We got Matthew from Ohio, $250. Linda from Tennessee, $100. Karen from Tennessee, $100. Jonathan from Washington, $350. Virginia from Tennessee. That's fun. Virginia from Tennessee, $100. Garrett from South Carolina, $100. April from Virginia, $100. Mariah from Utah, $500. And Raul from Texas, $500. That's awesome. So great, guys. It's just been amazing. We're so happy. I told everybody this over and over, but the thing I'm most excited about is seeing that number of people grow. Yeah, we want to make sure we get our 5 million, but I would love to have as many people as possible be able to share in the journey with us. So if you haven't gone and bought shares, do so, because once we sell out, we're done. We have 7,790 people that have partnered with us. They're shareholders in our company to help make the Wingfeather Saga animated series. Hey, so here's a trivia question. Put it in the comments if you know it. What is the name of the company that you are buying shares from? What's the name of the company that you're buying shares from? Anybody know? Put it in the comments if you know. It's totally an inside thing. Andrew and I wrestled for a long time about what this name should be. We both had a bunch of names, couldn't figure it out. I went walking downstairs, and Heather's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, just trying to think of a really good company name. And she goes, oh, well, it should be, and just said it. And it was like, oh, well, thank you. That was easy. And that's the name of the company. So you'll find it. If you go look in our investment docs, you'll see what the name of the company is that actually has the shares. As you know, Andrew and I have Shining Isle Productions that we started years ago that is working on Wingfeather Saga, and we hope to make other really great series in addition to Wingfeather Saga. So Shining Isle Productions, you may have seen. Hey, if you want to work with us, if you know people that you think in animation that would like to work with us, we've had some really remarkable discussions with people of notable experience from some significant studios reaching out to us because they want to work on something cool like Wingfeather Saga, and we're so excited to welcome them to be a part. So if you know people that you're like, oh man, so-and-so who I know who works in this field would love to look at this, show them what we're doing. And you can send them to info@wingfeathersaga.com, info@wingfeathersaga.com. That'll make its way to us, and we would love to hear that. If you're not on our email list, if you go to wingfeathersaga.com and hit the TV series thing there, you're going to see that there's a little email capture thing that we can take your email. Don't worry, we're not going to spam you. Yeah, there it is. We're not going to spam you. We're just going to give you information about what we're doing. And so anyways, hop in there, and that will be the exclusive list. And that list has grown like crazy, which has been super fun of people that want to know about Wingfeather Saga. So yeah, a couple more that just came in. We got some others coming in just now that Brad says, hang on. Oh dear. I don't want to hang up and then suddenly something happens and we want to do a happy dance and I miss it. So can you hang on for just a second? Because we may do some cool stuff. Also, some folks last week, we had a little special deal at the Rabbit Room store where we bundled some stuff for part of our Dragon Day festival. Y'all did great. They had like triple the sales of Wingfeather Saga stuff they've seen in a long time. So well done. That was awesome. Wingfeather Saga was initially published by the Rabbit Room. It's a publisher here in Nashville, and they initially did the publishing for books 3 and 4, and now Penguin Random House is publishing all 4 books together in hardcover. It's super cool. So that said, if you want some of the cool merch that we have for that stuff, like bookmarks and interesting things like that, for the time being, we're going to make some new stuff, but for the time being, like these really cool character cards, and we have what do they have over there? they have some posters. So character posters, got a Jenner poster here and Lily and Tink. If you love the short film a lot and you want to do a DVD, they have some of those over there. So anyways, we love their not-for-profit ministry and have a lot of cool stuff. So if you want to go therabbitroom.com, you can support them. Offcoming. Oh yeah, you want to help? Okay, so Charlotte's going to help me. We've got another little list here of a couple people. Can you read these?
Okay.
So who's that?
Joe from Ohio invested. Wait, is that Ohio or Oklahoma?
That you got it right, Ohio. I know it's like a test of all the states.
Yeah.
This is my daughter Charlotte. You may recognize her slightly older voice as the voice of Lily from the short film. So hey, kiddo. Okay, so
Joe from Ohio invested $250.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew from Arizona invested $150.
Yep.
Daniel from South Carolina invested $250.
We're learning geography here, folks, while we're doing this. This is great.
Noel, is that how you say it?
Very good.
Noel from Texas invested $100.
And
Kevin from
Minnesota
invested $100.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph from
Maryland
invested
$1,500. That's awesome. And then what's this one?
And Stefan from Arkansas invested $150.
Okay, and then
Lindsay from Oklahoma invested $100.
Yep, and
Matthew from Florida invested $5,000. Wow,
that's awesome, huh?
Yeah, that's great.
I wish I could it'd be kind of fun, like in a garage sale kind of way, if like each of these dollar amounts you guys could see, ooh, that's buying this piece of furniture from episode 5 or something. You know, like you'd be like, you'd see how your different contributions are being used. That'd be kind of fun.
Oh, Ben from Georgia.
Another one. Ben from Georgia
invested
$100. So if we're selling shares, and these are the shares, that means that they got 100 of them, right? 1, 2, 3. I don't have enough, but so 100 shares. And we were thinking about it'd be kind of fun if we made like a printable thing that people could print at home, and like it would be, you know, I have so many shares in the Wingfeather Saga animated series, and the name of the company. I'm curious if you guys got that right. If you figured out what the name of our company, you know what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, don't say. Okay, it's a secret. But yeah, that was super fun. Okay. So we are here funding for 6 episodes. We're actually funding the season finale. Now, the season finale of season 1 is going to be the end of book 1. And Charlotte just recently went through the books. She actually got to go along in the read-alongs with Andrew last year, Mr. Peterson, and hear the story. So the end of book 1, there's some pretty big stuff that happens, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So that's like. Remember that?
Oh, I love that scene.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And we actually have it mapped out. You guys don't even know. But we did a story meeting with the writers, did a writer's retreat 2 days back in April before we launched this, and worked on season 1, the 6 episodes. And oh, what? You got a name on here. They're so fast. Look at you.
Wow.
Don't switch sides with me because it'll get mixed up. Okay. Anyways, so we did a writer's retreat and worked on the 6 episodes. And we know exactly how the season is going to end, and it's so good. It's so good. And we have a post-credit scene. I know for the kids, we love post-credit scenes. Like pretty much any movie now we're pressing play on, we're expecting a post-credit scene, like something else to be added, right?
Yeah.
So the post-credit scene, you want to know what it is? So we finish where you know it finishes, and then the credits, and then at the end, when it comes back up, cut to black.
That's gonna be so great.
It's gonna be so intense. You're gonna want to watch season 2, aren't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know.
Just picturing.
It's gonna be great. All right, so we're funding episode 6, which she knows the ending to, and the post credit scene, but no one else does yet until you see the show. It's gonna be so good. So, anyways, this has been amazing. We're closing in on $5 million over the last couple days. It's just been accelerated. They told us that what's going to happen is as we get over 4 million in that kind of closing window, people are going to like, oh, I meant to go do that. Christy was joking about this today. Andrew's manager, she's awesome, was like, oh, I and people have been asking, oh, I forgot to do that, and hopping on right as they're talking and like going and getting shares. So if you know people that have talked about it and haven't, you should tap them on the shoulder because otherwise they're going to miss it. Hey, so Michael Enslin got it right. The name of the company, Michael Insland. Great job. We got the name of our company right that owns the animated series and is distributing the shares that you're purchasing. What's the name of that company?
Toothy Cow Productions.
Yeah, it's an in-world thing. If you haven't read the series, toothy cows are dangerous. Tom mentioned we have this really cool cutscene. I don't remember this, but it was Janner in the field, remember? And then he hears the...
Yeah.
Okay, so we had this idea that people that live in Glipwood wouldn't let toothy cows just wander about, because they're dangerous, right? And that they would have gone and tagged them. So, they'll do that like with like bears. Sometimes they put a little tag on them so you can keep track of where they're going. Well, so this is a little more primitive. So what would they do to tag them? Do you remember this? And so they had this, Tom had this idea that what if we like shot a bell on an arrow and then there'd be a little bell on them. Blink, 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 like our cat going around here. And you'd hear
Yeah.
the cows approaching. So Janner, this really cool cutscene, which I'll find it and we'll share it on the socials, but where Janner's out in the field working, and then he hears the cling, 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 and he stops and he's like, uh-oh. And then sure enough, there's a huge toothy cow. What do toothy cows look like? So I will just dare you to go look up a double-muscled cow. Google that. Nightmares. Okay, so we thought, what it would be like to have a double-muscled cow that has the skin of a Chick-fil-A cow, that has the teeth and fangs of like a scary dinosaur. That's the toothy cow. So that's what you're going to see in that little cutscene that we made, that Tom mentioned. Our director a few minutes ago, we didn't actually get to use in the short, which is a bummer, but it's super cool. It's a great little scene. Oh. All right. Oh, we have some more. Do you want to read these?
David from Florida, 350. Catherine from Texas, 100. Mallie from Utah, invested 500. Wendy from Tennessee invested 100.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph from Florida, 223. Kevin from California, 100. Michael from California, wow,
456. 2456. That's a fun number. Great job, Michael. Thank you for getting a fun number for us to read here.
Yes.
Okay. So anyways, it has been one of the things that we did this winter. I know a lot of you guys were in quarantine like us, and so we had some time to catch up on some shows that maybe we hadn't watched or wanted to see. But one of the things that happened is that we got to catch up with a series called Avatar: The Last Airbender. So this is an old Nickelodeon series. It ran 3 seasons, specifically because it was meant to be a narrative arc, meaning it had a beginning, middle, and end. And it was one of those rare shows that a whole family could get into because it had these really cool fight sequences. It had these really funny characters. And then it had these really poignant moments that landed some things that were really delightful about kind of our human experience. So what I loved about that series, particularly as a storyteller, is that their kind of worldview was very much informed by spiritual truths for that series. They're different truths than we would. So we'd have at times we'd lean over and go, yeah, kids, that doesn't kind of line up. That's actually whatever. But when we get to land it here in Wingfeather Saga, I think a lot of families would be like, yes, that's exactly like Andrew talked about earlier. I feel that when I go and have these experiences. So we just had a few oh no, bad news. Oh, do you want to see a double-muscled cow? Do you guys want to see this? Do you want to see a double-muscled cow?
Not really.
Elijah wants to see it.
Yeah, I do.
Elijah's in. Okay, here's Elijah, my son. Elijah is the voice of Janner, or the voice of Kalmar, rather, Tink, in the short. And, of course, you're into it. All right, so do we have a double-muscled cow? I'm a little worried. Oh, there it is. Look at that.
Oh, gosh.
That's real. That's a big cow. So put some fangs on that, and then a little kind of Chick-fil-A black and white pattern. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. We don't need it anymore. Yeah. Thanks, John. It's good. Wow.
Good,
okay. So we have a couple more here. Elijah, do you want to read these? You have to read it like Kalmar.
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it.
Well, that's kind of my voice.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Trevor from Arizona invested 200.
Yep.
Sharon from Florida invested 100.
Thank you, Sharon.
Caleb from
Ohio. Yeah, very good.
Invested 350. Philip from
New Jersey
invested 150. Nathaniel from Virginia invested
200. Brighton.
Brighton from Colorado invested 500.
Yep.
What are they? Andrea from New York invested 300. Joel from
350, just to be clear, but carry on. Jed from
what is that?
We're working geography. We're a homeschool family, so this is a great geography that we're doing publicly.
Don't even know what a circle is.
You're doing great. You're actually doing really good. That's Idaho, and that is
Idaho. Jed from Idaho invested 500.
That's awesome. And then we have a few more. Donald from Kansas, 4,000. Thank you. Raquel from Florida, $100. Ryan from Texas, $500. Tasha, from Missouri, 150, and Eric from Georgia, $100. One of the questions too is if you've already invested and have shares, and that's awesome. Don't worry about it. If you thought, I wanted to actually do some more, it's like a store. So just walk in and purchase more shares. There's not like a go revise your pledge or whatever. You just walk back in and buy more, and they'll tell you. I think the little system comes up and says you've already got to do it, and I want to buy some more. Thank you very much. It's kind of like buying ice cream at the store when people give you the look like, do you want more ice cream? Yes, I do. Leave me alone. 7,815 people have jumped in and partnered with us as investors, and you're going to get to go with us over the next 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know how long we're going to get to do this as we tell the entirety of the story. So Avatar Airbender, we watched that. It was super cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
What was interesting, do you remember when we started watching it?
It's really weird.
Grace, their older sister, was off at college, and so she had to catch up. And because we're telling her, hey, we're watching this series, and she's like, I don't know if I want to watch a kids animated series, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like a kids animated series at the first, but then it got a little more deep.
Okay, so that's true, right? It starts off a little bit silly, and then it's like, oh, and then you're headed towards the Fire Lord, right? It's gonna happen. Yeah. There's gonna be a throwdown.
Stuff goes down.
At the beginning, you're just like, I don't like these characters, and then you get super attached to them.
Yeah, and they're annoying. You're right. Yeah. There's characters like Sokka. You're like, why am I watching this? He drives me crazy.
So annoying.
And then you just earn it. But we got to watch it. We're kind of chapter people, so we would watch an episode, maybe 2, and then we'd wait a little bit. Like we like to kind of slowly, and then we talk about it between those things. And there were some points when they hit some things that were like, whether they be spiritual, religious moments that were like, that's not entirely true. One of the core things is that truth can be found in yourself. And of course, as someone who follows Jesus, we like, no, we want to follow truth outside of ourselves and in our Creator. Just little adjustments that are like worldview adjustments, right? The way someone talks about that, like there's a brokenness that's in all of us, right? We all have brokenness we have to kind of work through, and there's only one who can bring us perfection, right? And it's outside of, I can't find perfection in myself. So there's a little adjustments in storytelling that take something from really meaningful and kind of having a different lens into the world and maybe going a different direction. And you feel it, right? When you're watching a story, you go, wait, that's not quite right, and we feel that for a lot of things too. So I'm the worst. Watching movies, it's no good because I'm paused. All right, we're talking about this. And that's actually like, it's not what you think. It's not for like bad movies. It's like good movies that have bad truths. Have you guys had those where you're watching something and it's a good, but it's a bad truth? It's like, that's not, I don't know. It just doesn't land well. We have some more popping in here. Okay, so we're down here. Who wants to do this one?
Okay. Donald from Kansas invested 4,000.
Raquel from Florida
invested 100. Ryan from Texas, 500. Tasha from Moldova.
No, that's wow. No, that was Missouri. Okay, that's 150, and Eric from Georgia, 100. I think we read those already. That was actually a repeat. So you got your name called out twice. Eric from North Carolina, $1,000. Thank you. John from Ohio, 500. All right, what's our latest total? We're so close now. It's getting weird. Like, because now is the weird part where I'm like, I don't want to hang up, and then you guys, if you need to go put your kids to bed, don't. Oh my gosh, wow, we're really close. Do you see that?
What do we have? Man.
Okay, so didn't really plan for this. 4.942. So it's like $57,800, and then we'll be done, and all 6 episodes of season 1 will be funded.
Oh my god!
Isn't that amazing? We're going to make all of it.
Go fund.
That's really cool. Okay, so yeah, we're at this weird part where I kind of want to stay on with you, but I probably won't. But you don't need to stay. If you need to go, that's fine. Yeah.
Just like
go, Daddy, go.
live stream to like 12.
Give me some coffee. Last time this happened, we got close to a goal like this, and then I was on. Do you remember that? Normally, I would pop on and like, hey, we did a milestone. We got it. And this one time, you guys may have been around for this. I was on for over 2 hours.
Didn't love that.
Talking about the series and what we're doing and all this kind of stuff. It was a long time. And then I had to go into 2 more hour-long meetings after that. It was really an intense day. I was kind of tired that night. Mrs. Wall says my job is I'm a professional talker. That's my job.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, we are here funding 6 episodes for season 1 of the Wingfeather Saga. If you just popped on here and saw us live, hey, I'm Chris. I'm the executive producer. These are 2 of my kiddos, Elijah and Charlotte. They actually helped voice the short film from our closet years ago.
It's like down there.
Closets are great places to record in case you're curious. They're quiet, and it's pretty darn cool. I wonder if I have a photo of that. Let me see if they got this. What? Kids, how proud of you, your dad, right now? Well, I think they are, but it's kind of a weird thing that they get involved with me.
We've experienced this many times.
A lot of movie nights have been pooped because of this guy working. It's a little
that happens, right?
Yeah.
Where we like
making
say
the
we're gonna
movies.
watch a movie and then we wait like 3 hours until you finish.
Because we're busy making the thing.
Yeah.
So it was at Christmas in 2016. Oh man, I forgot about all this. We had these crazy deals where we would do for part of our thing for part of Kickstarter. We do these packing parties. That's my family from Colorado. November of 2016, helping to pack. This has been such a family effort. Helping to pack envelopes for our Wingfeather Saga Kickstarter.
Where was I in that?
Golly. And then here was us packing up. There's our librarian, Laura. Hey, there you are. There's your sweet husband. There's my sister. Oh my gosh. What a great crew. So this was back in 2016. When we tell you folks that it's been a long journey, we mean it's been a long journey. We've been working on this thing for so long. I wanted to let's see if I can find, I know I have a picture of us I took a selfie of us in the closet for you guys. Oh, there's our patches. I forgot about those. When we were recording the voices. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, we have a few more here. Can you read these 2 here?
Eric from, at Donald or?
No, Eric from North Carolina.
Eric from North Carolina invested, 1,000, thank you. John from Ohio invested 500. Karen from
Pennsylvania
invested 200. Brody from Maryland invested 100. Brad.
That was actually 1,000.
Oh, 1,000. Well, even better. Barrett from.
Jared from South Carolina.
No.
Yeah. Oh, Brett from Wisconsin. $100.
Yeah. Wisconsin, $100. Jared from South Carolina, $250 or $270.
Great job, y'all. I can't find this cool photo. Unfortunately, I was hoping to show it to you, but of us in our closet recording. It was a crazy time.
It was really fun.
But these guys have all been along for the journey as we've gotten to see the Wingfeather Saga series come to life, both in the short film and now in this phase, which is amazing.
Remember when we sang the Black Carriage song in the closet?
Oh, man, I forgot about that.
That was fun.
I was like 5 and you're like, okay, just read this. And I was like,
no, read this really scary poem. That'll be fine. And we did. You guys did a great job. Yeah. And we got in the...
Did we use that recording?
We did. Your voices are all in there. And they're like super quiet. If you listen carefully, you can hear them kind of whisper, doing this like super creepy thing.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I can't find that photo.
You just told me to sound as creepy as possible.
Yeah, it was like, read this release, because it set a tone,
Yeah, it was really scary.
Of like what we'd be into. Oh, here's some photos. I forgot. Here's the ones that I was looking for. This is some of our crew back in the day doing the work of making that short film. Yeah. Some amazing folks. That's Keith Lango up there giving instruction about our really amazing animation style that we had. That was really kind of a dream. You heard Tom talk about that earlier, but it was kind of like, what could we do that's different? What could inspire us, like the art books that we've all loved? And so that's what we made. And people have asked about how different would the series look compared to the animated short film that you've seen. Better, basically. There were a lot of things that we were trying in the short film that were kind of testing some things out. And we kind of figured out what would work and what didn't. We really intentionally kind of tried some things. Things like, if you've ever looked at the inside of the Igby cottage, that's actually a series of art cards that are erected. That's not a real house. What? Totally ruined it for you. So imagine it's like this. So we actually do some paintings, and a guy named John Lauren, who's our art director that worked with Nicholas Cole, actually we made these things, and so we could move the camera around and you could be in the space. And then in the middle of the room, like the table and things like that, were actually real pieces that were in the room. But the other pieces, yeah, thank you, there you go. That's all just a flat painting that's put on the different things. And
so sad when you told me that. I was like,
yeah, I know, it kind of ruins a little bit. It's not real. So we were testing that along with like the cliff scene, where that's CG characters, model characters walking along the edge of the cliff. But the cliff is just a perspective painting. And it's not actually, geometry. The clouds are separated. There's some layers here a little bit so the camera can slide, but that's a fixed painting. The characters walking along, and it makes it hard for the animators, because the animators are animating characters kind of walking in space, right? That then gets set into the final image there, which is very different than normal CGI production. This is a heavy 2D. And I love this painting too, because you guys see how like the brush strokes back here in the clouds, like
so cool.
It's meant to be just that paint motion, like everything's kind of abstract and pushed that way. One of the things that will be stronger in the series is our sense of motion. So you can't have abstract visuals like that and fluid motion. It breaks it. Your brain goes, that doesn't work, right? You have to have both abstract movement in both places. So we used kind of a stop motion technique that you guys have seen in like Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep, which we love. But those are all in a very particular pattern. Ours is a variable stop motion. In the short that you saw, it was fewer than we should have done. Like we've heard that, like it was too few. If you guys saw Spider-Man Spider-Verse, that's all animated on 2, so it's got a little stutter to it, and they actually go. It's less frames when we're watching it, like in a talking scene, and then it moves smoother and faster when they go through an action sequence, but never perfectly smooth. And the other is, okay, right there on that clip, as Poto comes in,
his arm shaking.
Yeah, these things were so much fun. But when he comes in, that is actually a 2D piece of art. That's a 2D card that he's got in his hand. That's not a CG asset. So I know that's meaning it's like, imagine a little puppeted card that's 2-dimensional that he's holding. So he's a dimensional person like myself, and imagine that character is just this, right? And it's wiggling around, and it feels, I know. But what that means is we can have lots of creatures and afford to do some really cool stuff on screen that other productions that would have to model and make that would not be able to do. That also is true for the one Fang guard, Brack, who is the one who checks in the tool when Jenna has to go turn in the thing. That character is one of those that we were testing to see how far we could go. So most of ours are 3-dimensional characters. Not our character, but perhaps you've seen this character before. So 3-dimensional like this, right? Where they're really 3D. In our case, that character, Brack, which is when you see, when you see Jenner walk in and put the scythe down on the table. This character is behind the table. That character is only a 2D puppet. It's just 2D, and in After Effects, you actually puppet and make it move, and he laughs at him. He doesn't have to do much, right? He's just got one little moment. He doesn't have to do much. And so we're like, wow, we could add a bunch of cool characters and not have to have a ton of expense or time to pull that guy up. So that guy right there, 2D only. He's not CG. But it works, right? And I've never heard anybody complain about that character. Like, oh, it's not real. Nope, totally does his job. So those are some things. That was a hard camera shot, by the way, in the bookstore, that little camera. Because once again, the bookstore is also just fixed art cards, and we have to kind of make it feel like it's a real space. Yeah, exactly.
What's your turn?
Okay, so we have some new stuff. Here we go. you want to read? Let's go. Charlotte, you get this one.
I'm gonna ask up front. What does ST mean?
South Dakota.
Okay. Wendy from South Dakota invested 100. Jared from North Carolina 500. Melanie from Arkansas invested 250.
Alaska.
Oh, Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, whatever. Kathy from Ohio invested 350. Rusty from Tennessee invested 100. Nathan from Moldova. No.
Missouri. Moldova in the United States. And Jonathan
from Oklahoma. Oh wow, 8,000.
Thank
Kathy
you, Jonathan. That's awesome.
Hey,
let Elijah do a couple.
Yes,
which ones? Kathy from Pennsylvania.
Good job.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ooh, decimals. Kathy from Pennsylvania. Math. Kathy from Pennsylvania.
Invested $100. Come on, you can get it. And next one is
Bobby from Oklahoma invested 500. Thank you. What is that?
Sonia
from
Georgia.
I can do this. Sonia from Georgia invested 100. Noah from
Michigan
invested 100. Thank you
all so much. All right, so what's our latest total? Let me pull it up here. Do you guys have it? Somebody has it somewhere. Yes, let me see. We have a total of 7,800 people that have gone. Okay, and a new total of $4,459,621.
Almost 5.
Yeah. We need more.
So when it gets to so what's the math here, folks? We're almost we're yeah. Mm-hmm. It's 49. That number got mixed up. 4959 621. Because we'd be going backwards by a whole lot. So we are down to about $40,000. $40,000, which is based on our current tracking, is only in a few minutes. Y'all are going to knock this out. What? And we'll have $5 million. We'll be funded for season 1. Yay! Hey, somebody asked if you want to join Team Wingfeather. Team Wingfeather. We should have shirts. Team Wingfeather.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you want to join Team Wingfeather,
Army.
We do have a few spots. We're going to put some stuff out on LinkedIn. If you know people that are just great artists that would fall into the kind of visual style that you've seen in the short. That's one thing that's great about having that short film out there, is that artists can look at it and go, "Oh yeah, I'm totally in that space," or they can look at the short film and go, "That's not my vibe." Like artists, I just draw differently, right? Or it's a different task. Awesome, and so. One of the things that's really helpful about that is it's easy to kind of help people to draw their own conclusion on whether they're a good fit. Okay. So if you want to join or know people that want to, there's on wingfeathersaga.com, our website, there's a info at wingfeathersaga.com info that you can hit, and that will route its way to us, and we can kind of get to look at what you're doing. So yeah. And we've seen some great portfolios from a lot of great people already as we fill out the rest of our crew. We hope to start production July 1st, I think. It's actually going to be like July 5th, frankly, because July 1st is on a Thursday. Yeah, whatever. But it'll be in July we start, and we hope by late next year. Thursday? Yeah, I know. Well, because it's July 1st.
We're Tennesseans. Yes.
And now go July 4th. Yeah, it's weird. Hey, so this has been a whole family effort. Again, I'm Chris Wall, executive producer. Been working for 6 years. It's actually June 12th, right, honey? June 12th is the official day that I left producing VeggieTales and went and walked through the field with Andrew and said, "Hey, what about doing this?"
Yeah.
And so Heather has been walking faithfully through this process with us, with all of you and all of us, and it's been number one cheerleader. So I go through a lot of phases of like, I don't know, babe, it may not happen. It just may not happen. And Heather has just consistently, like Jamie with Andrew, Heather has been here for me the whole way. Like, no doubt, it's going to happen. And every time I'd go to fly to LA to go do some meeting with another studio, and she'd go, "You get that money, go make this show."
That money, boy.
and I'm like, we're going to tell them everything we're doing is so great. And I can't tell you how discouraging it is, folks, to have like, you just get so excited. Like, this is a great story. This is a great something that lots of people really are going to find powerful for their families, going to love. And to have someone sit with you and go, "No, I don't see it. It's not happening." And you're like, "But," and I would point to, as you probably would do too, go look at Amazon about these books, like the reviews. People like, no, this story really works. Like, it's really powerful, and it's good at the beginning. Andrew would tell you this. It's good, but hang on through book 1 because it gets great as it goes. It just keeps building, and it's so strong. And to come away from those meetings just discouraged, like, no, they didn't see it. They don't see what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And so I can't tell you how nerve-wracking it was 20 days ago that we sat down and Andrew and I said, hey, folks, we're going to do a thing, and it's going to require 10 to 15,000 of you to jump in with us and help us make the series, right? And maybe you'll do it with us, but maybe you won't, and we'll just put up a billboard and say, hey, we're going to make it, and nobody shows up. It's kind of like you go to the county fair, and there's like the one booth that nobody's going to. Like, we were like, maybe we'll be that booth, you know? And instead, you guys have shown up, and you have bought shares in our company, and you've helped us to bring this thing to life. And we are moments away from celebrating all the funding for season 1, which is 6 episodes of the Wingfeather Saga, and we get to go to work on it right away. Had a handful come in. Heather, you want to check your eyesight? Can you read? It's pretty small
I'll do
type.
my best. John from Virginia invested $250. Mark from Minnesota, $500. Andrew from...
Oh, I love it. Yes, Mama gets
Moldova.
It's not Moldova.
Maryland.
Massachusetts.
I love how
you
I know, it's easy for me. Well, I've been doing this for a few weeks.
So you guys both maybe I should hang up my homeschooling help.
We're gonna all drill geography after
Warren,
this.
North Carolina, $250. Kristen from Texas,
Well, that's depressing because we did geography last
Jordan
year.
from Florida invested $250. Peter from Arizona invested $100. Claudia from Kentucky invested $100. Nathan from Missouri invested $250.
Nope, it's Missouri.
And
Moldova
Lois
is not
from
part of the United States.
Maine, and that one's not always easy to remember,
That's
but
right.
I did just now
And
remember
once again,
that's Maine, invested $250. And Michelle
Thank you.
from Maine, $100. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, Elizabeth from Virginia, $100. Connie from Pennsylvania, $100. Levi from Idaho. Hello, Idaho. $150. Jeremy from Indiana, $100. Josh from Texas invested $1,000. Thank you, Josh. Marcus from Texas, $350. These are coming in super fast now. It's a lot of activity as we close out. We're so glad to have every single one of you. Like I said, it's the most exciting thing for me is to see that number of people growing. That's super cool.
Hey, Chris
Pretty much
Wall.
everybody else is in here. Calvin, do you want to say hello? No?
Maybe. Do you want to just sit
Come
there
on.
the couch?
Come on.
Come say hello now.
Antisocial brothers.
So this is Calvin. Calvin was not a voice, but Calvin is an editor. He's actually helped edit quite a few things. He's kind of figured some things out there. He's got his Meet Me in St. Louis shirt on. Crew. What were you going to ask? Sorry.
Well, we've been interviewing, all of our friends this whole time, and I don't know if our friends there on the World Wide Web have gotten to know you specifically all that well. So I was just going to ask you a couple of questions.
Oh boy.
So who is your favorite Wingfeather character?
Oh, that one's pretty easy. It's Janner. I have a lot of the attributes of Janner, where I tend to overthink. I tend to plan forever before I take action.
Lily, I'm going with Lily.
Yeah, so I really identify with Janner. If you know his whole story, just it's so much of doing things that you don't think you're supposed to be doing, and like questioning why you're doing them, those kind of things, and then you see that the path that God has you on is exactly to do that thing, and there's just this like, oh, that was mine. I just talked about this with Brad, who's our guy from Angel Studios. Brad and I were talking about this, that like I definitely went through a number of dark spaces of like, I don't think I'm the right guy for this series. Like I think Andrew needs to find somebody else. I've tried my hardest. I've not been able to. I believe the story is amazing, but maybe I'm not the right guy to help bring it to life. So, we just haven't got any traction. And so to come out of that season and have all this validation, every one of you that steps in with us and partners is validating that these should exist. And I feel a humble kind of mantle to carry of like serving you all in our audience to just be a part of this story with us. Yeah, I don't take it like, oh, thank you, I'll go make what I want to make. We're here to serve you as an audience and all of our investors. So thank you so much for that.
Okay, and one more question for you. So it's been super challenging at times, that whole like, this story means so much to our family and it's been so powerful for us. So why are we getting no after no?
Right.
So what would you say is the reason that you hung in there as long as you did?
I think I had the pleasure of going back and rereading the stories with you two.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? And
we'd sit on our beds for hours just asking for more.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And reading through it, like I thought it was good the first time, and it was so much stronger the second time because I kind of knew where it was going.
Many nights.
And then following along a little bit with her last year, every time that I come back to the story, it's like Andrew said earlier, and sorry, he had to jump off for another thing. So sorry, you get us. That the story at times gets real close to those things that awaken in us a deep longing, right? That we become aware of. There's something else beyond this data. There's something else happening in this other eternal space that I can't quite get at, but I feel it. The veil thins, and I'm aware of it. Mm-hmm. And the story does that so many times in this kind of effortless way. And as you all know, Andrew can write some things. If you saw, or maybe if you didn't last week with Ellie Holcomb, who was our guest, she talked about something that happens at the end of book 2 that's very intense, and it inspired her to write this wonderful song that has been out and done very well for her, because it is an emotional touchstone that we all feel of like what would happen if all of my darkness, the things that I've made mistakes on and things, came out into the open, and what would happen and how would I feel about that, and what would people say? And the series does it so well, and those are the things that drive it on. That it's the same kind of thing that when we sit down as a family to watch something, as a family, we love doing that. We don't want to go, we're not a family that goes and watches things separately. Like we love to do things together. And so the inspiration of, I think there's other families like us that want that kind of thing, and not just movies. There's lots of great movies out there, and that's not, but in a series, a chapter by chapter kind of series experience, there's not as many, right? And we're so thankful that you guys are helping us do this. Hey, we had a couple people jump in here. DJ from Pennsylvania, 150. Shauna from Pennsylvania, 5,000. Thank you, Shauna. Jonathan from Georgia, 900. Joseph from Georgia, $100. Matthew from Colorado, 350. Jacob from Missouri, 400.
Missouri.
Nope. Mark from, what's that one?
Los Angeles.
No, I know. It's an easy one.
What is it? Which one?
LA.
LA?
Louisiana.
Las Vegas.
$100.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mark. Megan from Texas, 500. And JN from Tennessee, $100. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. So I'm Chris Wall, executive producer of Wingfeather Saga. It's been delightful to have you all here with us tonight. We are sitting at, what's our total right now? You guys have that for me? Got these great people working this live stream. I'm keeping you late because this is too awesome. Oh my God. Here it climbs. Dun, 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 dun. 4,959,000. So we're down to like 40,000.
Come on, somebody,
Wow.
let's just get it done.
7,846 people have jumped in here to help partner with us to make the series come to life. There are lots of studios we talked to about helping to make this series come to life, and some that we got pretty excited about, frankly, that Andrew and I came back, or Tom and I, or whoever would come back from those pitches and be like, yeah, I feel pretty good. I think it's going to happen. And then I'm thinking one in particular that it turned, right? It was like that would have been a bad fit. There was another movie, another thing they got involved in, and it was like, oh my, had we partnered with them, it would have been awful. And we just felt like that was, the hand of God kind of taking us carefully to say, go talk to these people. Nope, not with those folks, kind of thing. And I think I've mentioned this, Heaven knows, but I talk about this a lot, that I am not that smart. So any of you who are like, oh, Chris, he must be brilliant. He was on VeggieTales and produced all this. No, I am very patient. And I go very slow and methodical, and I am absolutely a palms up curiosity guy, that I am just walking around in curiosity, like, and then what happened? And then what's this? And that's probably being a homeschool kid growing up on the plains of Colorado. Thank you, Mom and Dad. And having a lot of time on my hands to consider and be curious and think. And I carry that today. So it took a long time to discover that this was an option. That we could come back out to you guys with Angel Studios, which we're so happy. There are, again, marketing and distribution partner helping us to bring this series to life. To answer this question that's come up a lot in the chat, is how will we see the series? Well, it's very similar to the other series available from Angel Studios. So if you have not downloaded, may I recommend, Dry Bar Comedy. So our family loves to laugh. We love good comedy. It's hard to find comedy that isn't offensive for a family to get into, or for anybody, frankly. and they have a great slate of great comedians who are clean comics. And they have a really smart way that they got that done, but they've got comedians who are really skilled that come on to Dry Bar, and you can watch those comedy specials on there and in Dry Bar Comedy app, and it's just so great. So may I recommend go check that out. But in that, after that comes on, you're asked if you want to tip after you've had a great experience. And so you can tip and say, hey, I like this comedian. He was really fun. Here's $5, which maybe on the front end, you would have been like, I'm not paying $5 to watch a guy be funny. But at the back end, after you had a good experience, no problem, right? The same thing is for The Chosen. It's another series that Angel Studios has helped distribute and market and really been integral in helping get that to life. And The Chosen is the same idea that you can watch it for free. And if you really enjoy the show, you can pay it forward and help other people to see more of it, including helping fund future seasons. And that includes some of the merch that we'll get to make. So some of the T-shirts and some of the other things. So when you go out to The Chosen and you go buy some of their stuff, which I have some of their, it's not here at my desk, but I have like other stuff from them. It's because I love that show, and our family has loved that show, and we want to support the show. And so by buying those things, it's like I'm helping to support the show. The Wingfeather Saga is going to go out in a very similar pattern. That's kind of the Angel Studios style, is to go out and take their shows similar to, maybe you guys have played some video games like this that are free to play, and then you can make money from other ways. That's the model here, is that you get to watch a show and you get that many more people to get to see it because it's free. And then a certain portion of those are going to be the people that help support the show and make it go forward. And that's the model, and it's super cool. It's really transformative, folks. And joining with us on this is like unlike anything else that's happened. It's a whole new venture. It's a whole new idea. And it took a while to kind of get our head around how it could work, because it is so new. Because normally it's you go pay for some content, like you go to a movie theater, you buy a ticket, you go pay for your subscription, and you watch it on some streaming service. This is not that. It's a whole different way of doing entertainment, and it's pretty groundbreaking. It's pretty revolutionary in the way that it's approaching it, and I couldn't be happier. And the technology side is there too. I think it's really important for anybody that's a part, that it has to work, right? The thing has to do its job. When you download any one of their apps, so Chosen or those, they just work. They just work. And it's so engaging. You get to really feel attached. It's been described, and I've said this in a few interviews if you've seen or heard me talking elsewhere, but it's been described quite a few times that this is not SVOD, which is subscription video on demand, where you subscribe for a monthly fee, and then whatever they feed you, it's like going to a buffet, right? Whatever they feed you is what you have because you're a subscriber, right? That's not the situation here. This is what we call CVOD, community video on demand. Communities like you guys, communities like the 7,847 people that have come together to say this should exist, right? You're part of that community that is making it exist. And it's amazing. We're so happy that you have joined with us, because we could totally have done this with a studio or a bank or a couple key investors, but instead, by coming out to you, we get to kind of share that joy together, right? We get to share the joy of making this together, which is really amazing. And then as the show comes out sometime late next year, you'll get to share it as well. So you're going to be the first people to get to see it, and then you're going to get to go share it with your friends and say, oh my gosh, you got to check out this really cool series, and they'll get to go watch it, and on it goes. Now, the other question that comes up a lot is it only ever going to be through an app like that? Is that it? No, if you've watched The Chosen, you know that season 2 right now is in the app. Super cool. But season 1 is now on Peacock and a bunch of other stuff. And that is helping to fund the future seasons. And they're currently funding their 3rd season, which is amazing. And then when you go buy merch, like I got this cool Chosen mask that I wear around. I wore it like on one of my first calls with Angel Studios. And it was the one in my truck, and I was like on this call, and I was waiting for my daughter to come out of the thing. So I'm sitting there on this call, and I was wearing it, and I felt like such a nerd. I'm like, oh, I'm totally wearing your merch while we're talking about doing the show together. But it's the one I had. It was totally honest. That said, in this process, you guys get to be a part of making it, then being the mouthpiece to go help take it out into the world. Because the next big step is this is very different, but we actually will need you to go earn that audience, to go earn people that will actually love the show. You guys are all in, love it. But now we have to go help others to get into and enjoy the show. And you guys get to be a part of that when we go back out. with our series. Hey, we got a couple more people jumped in here. Let's see. Max from Colorado, $100. Nancy from New England, $120. Steve from New York, $350. Jonathan from Georgia, $100. Roderick, cool name, from Arizona, $125. Sue Ann from Ohio, $1,000. Thank you. Haley from Georgia, $250. Casey from Florida, $100. Amber from Virginia, $100. Sarah from Texas, $200. Thank you so much. Okay, here's the ticker. Oh my gosh, 4,971,591. Okay, so we're going to be down to the net to within 25,000 here in a minute. If y'all can hang, I'll stay. It's no problem. I've got water to drink. I've got snacks. We can just keep going, and I can keep telling you more stuff about the series because I love telling you about what we're doing. So if it's cool with you guys, I'm just going to keep telling you about this, and because we're gonna close this out together, and then we're gonna have a big party, and I'm gonna tell Andrew he has to come back and join us to scream and cheer and have a great time. Okay, so let's see. We are. I'm all caught up in my investor list. 7,851 people are invested with us. Like I said a couple times, but when you buy shares, you're going to hang with us for a long time. So plan to, as we make money on the series, should we be able to, which we hope so, that money is going to go right back into making season 2, season 3, and so forth. The hope is to do all 4 books in the series. If you guys haven't read the series, this is what you should do after we're done raising this money, but go read the series. On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness is book 1. This will be basically what season 1 is. One of the things I want to show you is book 2 is quite a bit, well, not quite a bit, but it's a bit thicker, okay? And there's a lot that happens in season 2, book 2. Now, we're going to likely break this book up and do either more episodes inside season 2 or split it up, and there's some things that we could split and have some things in season 2 and then save some things for season 3. So from this point forward, you should see the story as one whole story. How many seasons we do, we're not going to break it by the books. We're going to just kind of follow the narrative arcs through with all of our great characters. And like I mentioned, our team of writers, we've already started working on how we might break this. And there's a very satisfying arc that we're excited to tell. We're not going to go page for page. We're not going to go and tell every bit of dialogue, every bit of moment, because we don't have to, frankly. The story exists in its own space as told by Andrew in the books, and then we get to do a fresh telling of it in the series. We get to do a fresh version of this that will be both the same story, but like a different perspective. I told somebody this recently, but it's kind of like the Gospels in the Bible, right? Where they capture different events with a little different POV. Same idea here. So then, because we're a visual series, there's things we can do visually that are faster, and there's some things that will slow us down because we don't have author voice, those kind of things. But we are going to just tell that story. We're not going to break the story. We're going to tell the same story we have on that page. Somebody's asked recently about what are some of the themes in Wingfeather Saga that make it distinctive. What are the things within the series that are different from these 12 other series? There are themes that we all attach to as families, like families are better together. A lot of kids' protagonist series where the child is kind of the hero on the journey. The arc of that story is ditch the parents as quick as possible so that the child can go be free to have that future journey. Or the child is an orphan. That's a commonly used thing, and has to kind of fight against the world to get back. And those are fine. But what we wanted to demonstrate in the story, which the Wingfeather Saga does, is it does this great job of showing the family stronger together. That when they go face challenges, face evils, that kind of thing, that they are stronger as a unit than they are as individuals. And at times that's tested because they do love each other, and they will spat and fight, but they do love each other. And there are films that do this so well. We've all seen them, right? The Incredibles, I think, is one of those that we all love so much. Mitchell's versus the Machines, which came out a few weeks ago, great pro-family kind of thing. Those are the kind of values, including other deeper values like that sacrificial love is a high value, right? That love can cost something and mean something. That good will ultimately triumph over evil. That things will get very dark, but good triumphs over evil. Those are themes that we rally behind and are going to be absolutely anchored to our series. Also, that we can have fun. That we can be witty, like Princess Bride, whimsical, silly, have some good times while we're setting for some epic stakes. So that's great. All right. Got a couple people. Jenny from Texas, $500. Austin from Georgia, $100. Zoe from Georgia, $100. Austin, maybe again for $100. Richard from Texas, 4,000. Thank you so much. Hey, if you guys have a second and want to jot in a question for us to answer, I'm glad to answer any questions you have that I haven't. I feel like I've answered every question that could possibly be asked repeatedly. But if there's something that I haven't answered and you want to know about, pop it in the comments. Tag a friend if they have a question that you knew they wanted to ask, and I'm glad to answer it here as best I can. There are some things about investment and taxes that I cannot answer. It's not our space here. For those things, you want to go to the Angel support tab. So when you're on the main landing page, if you have investment questions, there's a little green help with a question mark down there. Tag that thing, and those folks are great to help answer your questions about investments, which we're going to close this out. We are so close on finishing our $5 million. We set out 20 days ago, 20. We thought it would take us 28 days. We thought it might actually go longer, like maybe we'd only do the first chunk in 28 days and weren't sure how it would go. You guys, in 20 days, we're going to finish this out here tonight. It's going to happen. My friend Brian just asked that. Are we thinking it's happening tonight? Yes, Brian. It's totally happening tonight. Yeah, but if you have questions, feel free to pop them in here, and I will do my best to answer them. One of the other questions I've heard a few times is, and this is a great question, what about the ethnic diversity of Air this rich world with all these great characters? What about the ethnic diversity of that world? Is it going to be all white people? No, that's not true to the world at all, even in a fantasy world. So we are so excited to really see Glipwood as like a hub of really interesting people with backgrounds. Now, it's not from our world, so that wouldn't correlate to like specific places here, but we thought it'd be so interesting to explore like what people from that place that came here, maybe for Dragon Day Festival or a part of this, what their ethnicity might be. And so we're super excited about that we want to have families of all kinds of ethnic diversity here as our fans be able to see themselves in the characters that are happening on screen, right? In authentic ways. I think that sometimes that gets forced, when a story is not organically there and they go, hey, we're going to introduce this ethnic diversity. And it's like, is that real? Feels weird. Doesn't feel natural. We feel like there's some really great ways to do that. That will feel great to you guys. I'm super excited about that, actually. Somebody asked that recently, and I was just like, oh, yeah, no, we're into it. We have these great plans. So that's a good question. A couple more people popped in. Chisholm from Georgia, $400. William from Florida, $250. Richard from Texas, $1,000. Thank you, Richard. John from Washington, $500. Rachel from North Carolina, $250. Laurel from Wisconsin, $100. Brandon from California, $100. Thanks, y'all. Okay. Okay, so some questions. This is a good one. First one, will we do episode by episode or the whole season at once? Okay, here's the thing, folks. I am not a fan of the whole glut thing where you just put out the whole season at once and everybody binges it. I dislike that a great deal. It's like going to Golden Corral. Like it's just like you're getting it all at once. I don't want it. I love kind of chapter by chapter unfolding and the tension of that and what's going to happen next week. I love the water cooler discussions that happen because of that, right? And so I think you've seen a shift where for a while Netflix was kind of doing that dump thing, and now Disney's come in and started doing episode by episode. Totally want to do that. Want to make it part of your family schedule that on this night there's going to be a new episode. We're going to sit down, we're going to watch it together, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to be like, whoa, what just happened? What did we learn about those characters? So I'm a big episode by episode fan, and that's how we're going to do this. Now, you can wait. If you don't want to watch episode by episode, you want to wait and just catch up at the end, totally fine. I get that. You can manage your own time. Here's another question. Oh, man. I can't answer this one per se, but would we ever think about a Wingfeather Saga theme park area? Oh yeah, like Jamie would talk on and say that there would be like action figures. That's great, but for us, the idea that there'd be a world you could explore, that could really happen. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh, new total. Oh my gosh, 4,989,066. Oh my, we are $10,000 away, basically, folks. Yikes! 7,866 people. Okay. What homeschool curriculum do we use? Great question. So I am OG homeschooler. What? In case you couldn't tell. You didn't have to laugh.
So hard to
No. I was one of those kids that in Colorado, my mom and dad, who are probably watching this right now, came to me and said, hey, son, we have a new educational opportunity for you. It's called homeschooling in Colorado in 1982, I think it was. And I had just gotten to my first grade school. I was so excited. And they're like, no, so we're going to do this at home now. We are? And so we did lots of curriculums, all of them. ACE, ABECA, all of them. My parents, we shopped. We did a bunch of stuff. And so we are a literature-based family. So Heather does a lot of literature-based education for our family. But lots of different curriculums kind of mixed in. So not one
primarily
person. Number 4 question. This is a great one. How many seasons? That's up to you. It legitimately is up to you. If the audience response is strong, we have a map where we could go for a long time, like 7 seasons. If the audience response is softer, then we could go a little shorter. Probably 5 seasons. I don't think we do 4. We need a little more legroom than that, but that's a great question. And number 5, if you could eat one snack for the rest of your life, what would it be? Heather, what would your answer be?
For you, it would just be spoonfuls of peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Just a jar of peanut butter. That's the snack I need. And we're good.
Chips and salsa for me.
Yeah. Oh, you put the quote of me? You guys are the worst. They put a quote of me saying the OG homeschooler. Yeah, that's right. All right. It was kind of illegal in Colorado. So mom and dad, I remember telling me, by the way, we're homeschooling, but here's the deal, Chris. Don't go outside during the day because truancy officers are not cool about this. What? Don't tell a child that. I was 8.
I know.
Thanks, mom and dad. If there was one location in the Wingfeather series that you would want to visit, where would that be? One location you want to visit, where would that be? I heard it.
For me.
Where would you go? To the cliffs at Clipwood?
No, that's for me. But
where would you go?
Definitely. I don't want to spoil anything, but Pete's Treehouse.
Pete's Treehouse. Pete has a treehouse, and it's really great. That's a great question. Yeah, for me,
the ice
the ice prairies are pretty fantastic. I just got back from Minnesota with our scout troop. Our venture crew went up to northern Minnesota, and I thought of the ice prairies the whole time, which is part of Northerby Eaton. The ice prairies are super intense, and we actually built Quincy huts, snow huts that we could stay in. So yeah, totally. My mind was all thinking about Northerby Eaton while we were up there on the lakes. It was amazing.
That's so strange.
Here's last question here for a second. How much does Angel Studios own of the series? So they're our partner in marketing and distributing the series. And so as we make revenue from that, we share in the series. Now, one of the things they told us early on, which was crazy, but and Sean and Michael, thank you for asking this question. One of the things they told us early on, they said, creatively, it's your show. You just deliver your show as much as you want to make. That's so great. But we're going to help you find an audience. We're going to just do our part. That's what we're really good at. But to that end, we make it intentional that our creators that work with us always make more money than we do. So all of our deals are structured that you're the higher percentage of everything. And it's true. And it just was amazing because that's not what you experience with those studios. As a creator, you get a smaller percentage. They get the majority stuff. And that's not the way it is here, which is really cool. Can you believe that's real? It is. It's totally real. Okay. We are right at the end here. Okay, here's the deal. We're very close to hitting the $5 million mark. It's going to happen in the next few minutes, I think. But let me rattle off a few folks. I think this is the latest list. Sorry, I'm getting different lists. Brittany from Georgia, $1,000. George from Washington, $150. Matthew from Utah, $1,000. Arrington from Alabama, $1,000. Thank you. Dan from Indiana, $250. Sean from New York, $350. Richard from New England, $350. Bethany from Pennsylvania, $350. Saeed from Washington, $250. Julia from Kansas, $100. Tim from Alabama, $100. Jordan from Indiana, $500. Listen, so what's going to happen is we're going to hit this $5 million mark in the next few minutes. And when we do, that's it. We can't sell any more shares. However, there will be a get in line. There is a kind of hold that if anybody can't fulfill their pledge or their investment, they go do a little background check and whatnot. And if something acts up and they can't do it, that's the thing. Now, if you are one of our investors, please be watching your email inbox, because if there's a problem when they do that check, they're going to come to you and say, hey, this didn't clear. And they're going to come to you a couple times. And then if you don't respond, you will lose your investment. It's gone. Okay. Which would be a big bummer. That almost happened to me, actually. I had invested in another project on the site, and I got mixed up with some dude who had committed some fraud. It wasn't me. and they had to I had to prove who I was with like a driver's license stuff. So they may ask for some of that stuff from you, but hopefully not. It'll just clear. Holly from Ohio, $107. Ilya from New England, $500. Hannah from Pennsylvania, $350. Benjamin from Colorado, $100. Brian from Texas, $200. Melanie from Illinois, $350. This is so cool. All right, what's our total, folks? Can you guys give me something here on my dashboard? And I've got a couple other questions I want to answer here before we wrap up here. Do we have it? There it is. 7,879 people. We're probably going to get to 8,000 people. That'd be amazing. But 4,989,000. So we're just under 10,000 to go, folks. Well, right around 10,000 to go. Okay. Here's another question. Can you chat about the software animation style used for the series? So yeah, it's a proprietary tech that Keith Lango, our animation super, developed. Tom and I flew up to, he has a farm, actually had a farm up in Spokane, Washington. We flew out there in the winter and started thinking about like ways to make this work that would be different than the traditional animated modeling clay on a partly cloudy day. That was kind of the glut of the CGI industry that we've all seen, especially lower budget stuff or TV stuff. We're like, we don't want to do that. We want to do something that's visually way more interesting than that, right? You guys have seen this. So we had this paint motion style in mind that Keith had done a lot of non-traditional stuff, and he was like, what if we did something like this? And so it's animated in Maya, but with some really cool stuff that in animation, if a character holds still for longer than in CGI, then maybe like 3 frames, they go dead. It's like a puppet, and they just kind of like freeze, and you don't believe they're alive. In 2D, that's not the case, because 2D, you have drawings cycling, and they can hold their pose for longer. So 2D is generally less expensive than CGI animation. It's true. So in CGI, though, you have to animate every little keyframe, and there's a lot of work going in, and that's the biggest cost in making animation. And so we had some ideas about this paint motion style, which you've seen in our short film, which is a mix of a number of things. So there's some things going on with the edges of the characters. There's some things going on in their hand-painted textures. It's actually on the characters. It's actually cycling. And then there's some animation movement. The rigging and movement is the one area that's going to improve the most in the production itself versus the short film. There were some things we were trying to do there. Ooh, and this downtown shot we're seeing right here. I mentioned this earlier. So Pete the Sockman, voiced by Steve Taylor, the legendary artist and filmmaker, voiced that character. Pete the Sockman's a crazy guy. All these characters around them are 2D art cards, once again. So those townspeople there are 2D art cards. You can really see it in some places, because we didn't, but many places you kind of believe it. So that's kind of super cool. We need Raise the Rock shirts with Jurgen. Can this happen? Earlier in the broadcast, if you missed it, go back and you can check it out later. But we had Arcadian Wild, great band. If you don't know Arcadian Wild's music, go check them out. But they did, there's this chorus part of Jurgen's tune, Raise the Rock. It's a very important part of the story, but Andrew thought it'd be cool to do like a rock sign. Yeah. What about other merch that we want? We're actually in meetings even right now that we're going to start talking about all the merch that we want to make. Merchandise. Merch is the term, but merchandise. Cool stuff that fans can engage in. And I want you to hear from me right now as executive producer and CEO of our company that it is our intent to only make stuff that serves your family. That's actually really cool, and ways to engage in the story and kind of play with your imagination, do things like that. There are lots of ways we could make things that would be monetarily successful, but may not serve your family. And I want you to hear from me that we're going to make stuff that will serve your family and will be intentional. And we learned that in our time with VeggieTales, that was really important to honor that. And it's something I carry closely. What's the process for deciding what parts of the book get left out? So the process is deciding what your narrative arcs are. So you think about this character starts here, has this struggle, overcomes this, and lands here. And then there's a B character. This character had to, and you kind of work out all your character threads. And then you can only pay attention to as much as you can pay attention to. And so you decide this is the most important thing. This is the second one. And then there's a place where there's other stuff that we just can't get to. It's going to create too much fuss. And it's like an orchestrator going through and saying, I love what's happening here, but that's distracting me from what's happening over here. And you just start to cull that down. So it's organic in deciding what gets left out, but it's more about what gets focused on to really carry us through. Okay, so good question though. how can we audition for the show? We hope to do a casting call later. We'll put that out on our socials and on our website later. So pay attention to that. The show has not been cast yet. It is open. Another question that comes up a lot. Yes, episode 1 of the series will replace the short film pilot that we made. That was kind of to proof of concept, kind of get us out there in the world, but it will be replaced by episode 1 of the series that is 6 episodes long. Is the plan for Arcadian Wild and Kurt to do the music for the series as well? Yes, we want to do more music with them. We also want to welcome other artists. So we're likely going to have a fun expansion on that. Arcadian got some things going for us, and we're likely going to work with other artists as well. So that's all I can say about that for right now. But we love Kurt, and he is kind of an anchor and a rock. But we'll put that now. Okay, let me see. I think we're getting very close to our last. I want to read off a number of names, but I'm going to call Andrew right now and see if he can't pop on and join us, because I think we're going to be hitting 5 here, and I don't want him to miss it. And I don't even know if he knows I'm still talking to you all. He might not know. Oh, I went to voicemail. Dadgummit. Okay. Heather, can you try to call Jamie and see if she can, if we can pull him away from his thing? Kids are wondering what your favorite creature in Wingfeather is. What's the favorite creature? Ooh, what's the favorite creature? Yeah, flabbits for me. Hello, Carolyn Vogel. And what's you, Charlotte?
Big Nugget.
Yeah.
I was thinking of him as like a...
Big Nugget. So come over here. Nugget is this really sweet dog. I think Andrew may be able to join us for a second here, but and there's a version of there's kind of 2 versions. I don't want to say anything. Okay, Brandon from Virginia, $100. Rebecca from Colorado. Can you read that?
1,000.
1,000. Eric.
100.
Yeah, from California. Kristen from California. 350.
350. Sorry.
Kyle from New England.
100.
Benjamin from Michigan.
750.
Mark from Connecticut.
1,000.
Master Scott from Missouri.
No, it's from
200.
Moldova.
No, stop it. Joseph from Puerto Rico. Haven't seen that. 650. Thomas from New Mexico. $1,000. Thank you. Gianna from North Carolina. $100. Theodore from Ohio.
1,000.
Philip from South Carolina.
3,000.
Wow, these are big. Carol Lee from Idaho. $100. David from Kansas.
350.
Yeah, I see you. Okay, guys, we are very close. Can I get an update? How close are we? Because I think we're close. And I think Andrew may be able to jump in. They were checking. He's got to follow the same link, and he's going to try to join us for just a second here. Andrew. The site has to update. Okay, so we have to wait for the site. Let me do another couple questions while Andrew is getting on here, hopefully. Regarding our software, it sounds like animators would need to be trained up on the job to some degree. So we found that was actually a challenge in the short film, that we were doing this kind of stop motion thing, and it was a little confusing for people. And so we, on the series, will actually do something that's more traditional that they're used to. All right, we are very close. Let's see. Are we going to post this here? What do we think? We have, I think we're there. It says 5, Brad. It says 5. Hold on. Wait. Let me check. See if this is happening. I think we're going to get Andrew in here in just a second. And there's a lot of things happening here, folks. I know it seems distracting, but we are trying to get Andrew here to join in with us. Let's see. And it looks like officially, there it is. With 7,890 people.
So close to it.
Wow.
Very close.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here with our family. Thank you so much, you all. $5 million invested in 20 days. you guys have sent a message. And I want to be clear, like, I'm so excited for Wingfeather Saga series to exist. We're going to go forward. We're going to make some great stuff together. But what this means for other stories like this, you're opening doors for other stories like this to exist. That's for sure. Do you understand that? I don't know how to make that clear. I already know stories. I can't tell them here, but I know what's happening in the industry right now. There are people who are like, stories like this can be told, and they can be told in ways that are effective, that have high craft. I've told you all a few times that the reason for our budget is because we can make something that's high craft. It's efficient, and we're going to be careful with our money, but it is high craft. And here at 9:40 p.m. in Central, we've done it, folks, in 20 days. Good job! Thank you. Thank you, Bubba. Well done, everybody. It's so great. Hello, Jillian. That's amazing. Yeah, even filmmakers like Jillian, she's a friend that I know, that we all have these really great ideas for really interesting content, like Dallas had with The Chosen, and it happened, right? That people connected, and we're making something. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate you. Wow, that's amazing. We did it! Hooray! I can't tell you what this means. It is the best. We get to go work. Is it dusty in here? I know, man. Yeah, y'all, we're going to make a series. And it is thanks to all the wonderful people that have supported us along the way, have been a voice of encouragement. I want to thank Bill and Jeannie Hawes. They were ones who believed in us early. And have been financially supporting us, as well as just believing in what we're doing here to carry us along. I want to thank Neil and Jeffrey at Angel Studios. They both believed in us and made it happen. Thank you both for just what a confidence boost you gave us. And I'm so excited that we can do this together. It's going to be amazing. I want to thank Bob and Brock Starnes at Brentwood Studios. They have been instrumental in just being an encouraging. I got to go work with them and make the Slugs and Bugs show, which if you haven't seen, Slugs and Bugs show is delightful. Go check it out. Man, so many people that have been a part of our journey. Tom Owens, Nicholas Cole, and of course, Keith Lango. Keith, I hope you're tuning in here and hearing this, but yeah, we did it, bud. We've got the budget we need. We can go make it. Gosh, that's just amazing. Thank you to all of you, nearly 8,000 people that came together over the past 20 days to make this happen. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. I can't believe it. Okay, so in the old office, we did a little thing where we pulled together to see who thought where we'd finish and when we'd finish and this kind of thing. So whoever won that was going to get a special drawing from Andrew of our people here. Brad, do you know who that was? Who actually landed it? Because here at 9:40 Central, I can't remember who was the closest then. But they're going to get a cool drawing from Andrew, which would be super cool. Yeah, guys, this is amazing. Thank you so much for spending the night with us. Sorry it went so long. I certainly didn't intend to be here this long with you, but thank you for those of you that stayed with us and celebrated with us. We just raised $5 million to fund season 1 of the Wingfeather Saga independently. We're doing this on our own, not under the control of any major studio. We have a great partner in Angel Studios who's going to help us to market and distribute this. Yeah, thank you to all of our team. Mally, I see your comment. Thank you, Mally. She is helping us out on socials. Laura Hiddle, you are a champion. You've been fighting this thing longer than I have. And we're getting it. Isn't that awesome? It's so good. And all the just great encouragement we've experienced from you guys means a lot. Thank you. It's a lot of lonely hours up here in this old office, pounding away on this keyboard, trying to make this thing happen. And it's actually, it's coming to life. So thank you. Hey, I want to say a couple things here too to Brad and Mariah. They're our backup team here at Angel Studios that have been driving. Brad is the Sherpa of Angel Studios helping us to get through this funding window with you all. Now we get to shift gears. So now it turns to production. And now we start thinking about production, distribution, and making a great show that you all can enjoy. We hope to have all 6 episodes completed late next year. We'll just see how that goes. The one thing about an independent that we have at our big advantage is time. So if we make an episode and it's not working right and we need to rework it to get it to really work, I've produced a lot of material for a long time. And I can tell you that there's some stories and some movies and some things that come together really easily. It's just like, and you're just like, yay, it worked. And there are others that you have to fight and wrestle. And even though we know this story and what it should be, I can tell you that there will be episodes we have to work with that we have to kind of figure it out. So time is a thing we can use. So the hope is to set it up where we're having year after year. So season 1, 1 year later, season 2, that kind of thing. If we can go faster, we will, but that's the hope. So it's going to be really super cool. I think we're trying to get Andrew to join us. I'm not sure it's working. They're having some trouble. Oh, there he is. Hey!
I'm here with Jamie.
Yes! Congratulations.
How about it?
We are here. Fun. I am so excited, you guys. Thank you so much. I don't even have the words to say thank you. So thank you. Amazing. Hey, Heather.
Hi. Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know if this will work if I turn it sideways. Yeah,
there
Jamie.
I got you.
Sorry, I have a men's group that is meeting tonight, and so I had to step out. I'm on the back deck, and so I just got this about a zillion texts on my phone from you made it. So thank you so much. I'm so excited.
So fun.
We have nearly 8,000 investors, Andrew, that have joined in to make this thing happen. It's unbelievable. 7,890.
We are going to work hard to make this thing as awesome as we can, you guys. So thank you for trusting us.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing. So good, man. It's done. Day 20. We finished.
Can't wait. Yep. I can't wait. Yep. Let's do this thing.
Awesome, dude.
All right, guys. I'm going to go before the mosquitoes eat me alive.
Okay, buddy. Thanks for dropping in. See you, man.
We love you. Thank you.
Hey, folks. It's been amazing. 20 days, $5 million. We finished it. Victory lap. You should all be cheering because you've just helped to make really great content exist in the world. That's what happened. I didn't make anything yet. You guys did this. You actually set it in motion, and thank you for that. We're going to go do some diligent hard work now. If you want to keep up with us, please, if you're not a social media person, that's fine. Go to wingfeathersaga.com, wingfeathersaga.com. And there's a really cool email sign up thing that you can do and get on our email list. We're going to update the site, of course, with information. But if you want to get on our email list, we won't spam you, but we'll just help you know what we're up to. You can go out here and pop in your email, and we're going to tell you about what we're up to. Okay, so that's one way. If you're on socials, of course, hop on Facebook, Instagram, and we've got some great content out there. We also have an exclusive Wingfeather Saga group. And then, of course, YouTube here. We're going to have content out there as well. Probably be a little bit quiet for a little bit here while we're getting everything in motion, and then we'll be giving you lots of cool behind-the-scenes stuff. And then we have a official Wingfeather Saga group out there on Facebook that you can go jump in with, and we'll have lots of cool things there. So it doesn't matter if you've invested or if you just are a fan of and following along. That's great. We'd love to have you. Investors, thank you so much for believing in us with your dollars. It means a lot. We're going to get to work on something awesome. Thanks for spending the last couple hours with us. Sorry, it took a little longer than we expected, but we're done. $5 million has been raised in 20 days. Words will be written about what you guys have set in motion. There was a lot of questions about well, sure, people would show up and support a series about Jesus and the disciples, but I don't know if they're going to show up for a kids fantasy series. It's true. And you did. You showed up. Thank you. It means a ton. And we're going to go make that awesome series as best as we can. Thanks to our special guest, Kurt Heinecke, for dropping in with us and his great music that we've all enjoyed for a couple years here. Thanks to Arcadian Wild, Isaac and Lincoln for jumping in there. So great. Those guys, man. I was really cool live. They actually pulled it off. I was worried. I was like, I hope they can do it. And they just nailed it. It was awesome. And then, of course, to our dear friend, Tom Owens, who helped make our short film and really set a great foundation for us to work off of as we launch into the series. Thank you, Tom, for joining. And for our previous guests, Russell Moore, Ellie Holcomb, of course, Nicholas Cole, and Keith Lango, all these folks that have joined us to celebrate. It's awesome. So thank you all. Hope you have a great night. Thank you guys for staying in here. And if you didn't get in and you were like, oh, shoot, I just missed it, you can go ahead and click on the button and reserve a spot. There's times when sometimes transactions don't go through properly and some shares become available and you can still get in. So you can kind of hold your place in line and maybe join us. But otherwise, the rest of you, thank you so much. All 7,890 of you. You have a dear place in our hearts. Thank you all so much. We hope you have a great evening and good night from Franklin, Tennessee. Take care, y'all.